Did you know there is a definition named you've heard the phrase "two shakes of a lamb's tail," meaning something very quick. In nuclear physics, there's actually a technical term called a shake named after that because they were I can't remember the exact story, but basically a shake is something like 2 milliseconds, and they were trying to decide on a unit name to talk about nuclear reactions really quickly. And apparently they used to use the phrase "two shakes of a lamb's tail" quite commonly, so they decided to just call it a shake.
4 milliseconds is
a shake. Yeah, 2 shakes. It's 4 milliseconds. Right, view on watch page.
So Google, what's your definition of a moment? Because I'm pretty sure it's not the same as mine.
Yeah, definitely not. Right, is anyone watching us?
That's like when I say to the kids, 1 second, lads, and then my youngest son comes to me and go, 1, ha ha ha, that's a second.
Well done. You developed me to count seconds.
That's a good job, son. And he'll say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a minute. It's like, alright, then he'll actually count a minute. I was like, God damn it, man.
No, but how good is his minute? Is he quite good at keeping a minute to a minute, or does he tend to go a bit fast?
Oh, usually a bit fast because they're impatient.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
that's
7, 8, 9. That's not a minute.
It's like, yeah, but I'm making you do things faster because I need what I need now, and what you want to do doesn't matter because I was born.
Yeah, isn't that children all over?
Pretty much. Bless them.
Whatever you want doesn't matter. It only matters what I want.
Your life was over when I was born. Move on. Old man. Keep me sweet, otherwise you'll end up in a home.
Yeah.
No.
Just think, if you for certain crimes, you've been out of prison by now.
I know.
Yeah, manslaughter, some version of murder. You'd have got out of prison by now.
That's it. Marriage and children is just it's beyond cruel, unusual punishment.
Oh, bless. That's a lovely, happy thought for all the families to share out there amongst their people.
That's it.
Yeah.
My children would agree with that too. They'd be like, "Oh, what show are you looking at?"
Well, with my new glasses and my hair, I look like a semi-hipster. It's horrible.
Well, no, you'd be more of a hipster if you kind of...
Right.
That has not worked at all. Sorry, that was a great idea.
No, look, I've got greasy hair.
You might... Well, there you
go. Hang on, look. Let's just roll with it. There we go.
There you go. Why don't you just shave your head completely bald and then we can polish it?
A little buffer.
Yeah.
Need more wax.
And then we'll get you one of them rags and we'll just kind of like...
Bit of tea cut.
You know, look at that shine. And all of a sudden the reflection... We'll set up some lights and the reflection just blinds people as they come back.
Yeah.
Can someone
I'm still convinced that's why John Luke Picard had a bald head. It's when on all planetary missions he could just like blind them.
Polished to such a fine shine that if anyone tried to like
at Star Trek using some sort of laser polisher.
That's it.
Because for some reason everything in Star Trek they just couldn't accept anything not being futuristic. Everything had to be futuristic. You know, there's an episode where Geordie Ford is having a shave with a laser shaving device. How is that safe?
Yeah,
in what world is a laser shaver a sensible idea?
I'm sorry, I'll stick with the really sharp blade.
Well, like, this is a place that invented holodeck, so I don't think we can comment too much. And hadn't discovered fuses.
Yeah.
Or trip switches. Or indeed many other modern safety standards.
Nah, wow.
This
is the future, you don't need to worry about that.
There's actually a fantastic fan fiction someone wrote of it's a fictional inquest where they're taking the designers of the Star Trek to court over failing basic safety standards, and they cite nearly everything you see in the shows as like a failure on their part, and they're basically being done for like gross misconduct, sort of like...
Is that fused? No.
Yeah.
Are you wearing your seatbelts whilst on the bridge?
There's never any warning signs either. Yeah, they'd have the warp core next. I mean, I was watching one the other day, and there's this.
Well, new or old?
Generation. Okay. And there's like this sort of part near the warp nacelle. There's like these two streams of plasma, and if you fall into it, you're atomized. The only thing stopping you is a force field that you can walk through. Now,
at least you're still being treated like an adult. Don't go in there.
Yeah, but why have the force field? Why just have some metal bars? Why the force field? Why have a door that you can open to reveal the highly dangerous plasma stream?
Cling film. That'll do it.
Yes.
Because you know that as soon as someone touches it...
Cling film or stretch wrap, that's a bit stronger.
Yeah. Well, it's not really about the strength, it's just how annoying it is when it's there. It's like, don't want to touch that. Why? Cling film. Oh, alright.
Yeah. Oh, I get stuck to my hands.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, do you really want to have to rewrap that
If you touch that, you've got to put the next up, and you've got to make sure it's nice and neat and straight.
Oh, Jean-Luc's going to be pissed if you touch that. It's like, oh, for God's sake. Alright, I'll leave it alone. I'll stay away. Don't even breathe near it.
Yeah. I always think whenever you go, I always think whenever I watch a Star Trek episode, and they go on a holodeck, I just want more of the dice. On a 2+, the safeties will be disabled.
Good old Star Trek.
Yeah, I like Star Trek. I've really gone back into Star Trek recently. I was quite
What,
sad.
just to watch the taste of the horrible new series that have been made?
Well, I've been going back to it since last year. I've been gradually working my way through all the series since last year.
All the series, including Kirk?
Haven't done him yet. I'll give him a go last and see if I can sort of get through. I never really liked it, so I'll give it a go and see if I can get through it. I might even give Enterprise another go and just see, but I suspect I won't get through either of them. But I've done the ones I think I've done the ones that I grew up with. You know, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Next Generation for a little bit because that came on when I was very young. But I definitely remember watching the episodes when they came out. Because I remember watching some of the episodes. I mean, there's one episode that fucking terrified me when I was a child. They go to like this planet. The space station, and the crew has disappeared, and the other ones they're both missing. They find the remains of one, and basically, long story short, there's like this sort of mutant, like sludgy creature that can mimic people, and it basically it eats its prey, and then it mimics them, and sort of goes around and so forth. And what it had done was it had mimicked the dog. And there's this bit where Joy Ford is trying to work out where it's here, what's going on, what's happened, and he sat there in his office with the dog, and you just see it mutate and go for him. That fucking terrified me as a kid. It's like this thing. So I literally remember going to bed and I was just terrified like the chair was going to come alive in the middle of the night and eat me.
Or start panicking.
I was absolutely terrified. Yeah, but my dad said, look, they killed it. He killed it. It's fine. You're safe. He killed it. But what happened? No, he killed it. Trust me, you're not going to get eaten by a bad CGI space.
Deep space blob.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was that was that.
Good times.
Yeah. Let's wind up our podcast. I get to relive my traumatic childhood.
I was going to say it now. You're here.
yeah. I mean, what we discussed last few weeks: animals farming wood, and now being eaten by a slug monster.
Speaking of animals of farming wood and the two hedgehogs.
Yes.
We now have two hedgehogs living in our garden.
Don't let them near the road.
No, I won't. No. That's partly the reason why we have two hedgehogs.
These for not a few episodes anyway.
Yeah, just in case.
Does your dog like the hedgehogs?
Oh no. He often barks at the spiky balls that he finds in the garden.
Yeah. My dog Angel does that, and she tries and whacks him with a paw and ends up rolling them around the garden. So I said, no, Angel, come in. Don't roll the hedgehogs around the garden.
Leave them alone.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
They're only little.
They're only on point. They're going to hurt if you try and bring them in. I think Cadbury tried to bring one in once. He tried to pick up in his mouth. It didn't go well.
Yeah, lesson learned.
He still barks at them.
Well, yeah, because now he's thinking to himself, you fucking little bastard, you hurt me.
You're a spiky ball. How balls don't hurt me. This is not on.
Balls are supposed to be fun.
Spiky balls especially. They're meant to be the best.
You hurt.
Yeah, I hate you.
I
hate you. Anyway, shall we make a start?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm the SuffolkRam. Welcome to Roundheads episode 74.
Is it 74?
Yes.
Oh.
75. We're going to. You know what happens in 26 episodes time? Plane tickets.
Oh yeah, but are we go? I can't remember. What did we decide? Are we going to
North Korea
or to the embassy?
That was meant to be episode 50, but we missed that one.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't we have Big Kim on 50?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought we were going to. I thought we decided we were going to go to the embassy before we actually went to. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So yeah, episode 100. I'm sure we'll lose some more subscribers. And what I'm trying to do, you see, is I'm hoping if I talk about enough, eventually Donald Trump will mention us in a tweet, and then we'll gain loads of followers, subscribers.
Good plan, but I'm not sure how I feel for that.
Yeah,
the Don starts messaging. Like the Don starts tweeting about us.
Yeah, but we can be rude about him, so he'll say something nasty about us, or his fan base will hate us, but then all people who don't like him will subscribe to us. It does mean we'll probably get death threats, but that's okay because
we used to get those when Bart was about.
Yeah, but it's okay because I've now everything's got your address on it, so it's fine.
Fuck. Well, that's fine, I guess. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, cool. So send your
I know
death
where
threats
the dog
to
lives.
Skazz. Most of us know where he lives.
Here, in the cupboard,
Someone at work asked me the Queen lived the other day.
in the house.
I should have said that, shouldn't I? I said she lived in a council estate.
She probably does, to be fair.
Hey, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's owned by the government anyway. Our house.
That's it.
So she's a little house in a council estate.
Clutching her gyro.
Yeah. She goes to the job centre once a week to get her benefits.
Shouting at children.
She's being investigated. She seems to have lots of these holidays every
Yeah,
year.
being investigated for fraud and benefit fraud.
Yeah, lots of holidays every single year. And yet somehow never says doesn't know she do any work.
Yeah, her grandchildren are just as bad.
Yeah,
Benefit sponges pushing out more and more children.
Yeah. And you have heard there's rumours that she might have been involved with the death of the son of a local shopkeeper.
God damn it.
I know. It's very suspicious.
What is this country coming to, eh?
Well, you see...
That's when we're not in charge.
No.
Ban
the Queen!
Anyway, that's probably a good thing we're not in charge, to be fair.
Yeah. How quickly would we be able to create a rebellion in the UK? Yeah. Banning tea and the Queen.
I'm not too sure if we could get... I know that tea would definitely cause a problem. Queen, we could probably sway that either way, but tea... No.
Is that what you like tea?
No, I can't drink the stuff anymore, but, you know... you can't tell the British people they can't drink tea. Most of them are like, the Queen?
Banning tea, bulldogs, cooing.
Biscuits.
Biscuits. Chicken tikka masala. What else could we ban as British? What whinging?
Yeah.
Well, if I banned whinging, well, we'd own the show. But yeah, we'd soon get rid of those brave. We'd have pretty much pissed off the entire country.
There's got to be something else we can do. Something that just defines being British that we could ban. That doesn't fall under any of those categories.
Yeah, what could we do? There's no one watching at the moment who can help us with this. What thing can we ban that will piss all the British people off? Just automatically piss them off.
It can't be that hard. Under one banner, how could we aggro everyone? But why can't we think of it?
I know. Passport, British passport is so obvious that we don't think about because we take it for granted day to day. Yeah, talking about weather?
We already know that the sun's a myth in this country. It is a myth.
Yeah. I think I noticed last year whenever North Korea had nuclear tests, it seemed to get bright. So
are you saying that big glowy ball thingy in the sky that occasionally appears?
They're just testing their missiles for us, and that's all. Oh, okay. That's why we're not too concerned about North Korea, see, because it's like, well, we want a summer next year.
We get artificial sun.
Yeah, like cheers, North Korea.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. Give us artificial sun. Well, think about the British thing, and if you are watching this, write in to we haven't got an email at rannerds.com.
We used to have an email, didn't we?
I need to get it set back up again.
windupthebritish@randnerds.com.
Yeah. I feel we haven't got an email at rannerds.com.
Yeah, just look for that and we haven't got an email. If you don't set that up by the next podcast, I'm going to be really sad. I want that to be an email, and then I want to send an email to it just to see.
Oh, I just set up for you, and I've more forwarded to you.
Just set an auto forward to ping it back.
Yeah. I'll get it to forward to every other email address and get all those just to forward it to every other email address. And basically, we'll just get an infinite recursive loop of emails being forwarded to each other.
And then all of a sudden the server will crash because we never designed it to handle actual traffic.
Just this web post. For some reason, your emails got in the last 10 minutes said 30 million emails gone through. Has it now?
Wow, that's to be expected. Look who you're talking to.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, so games we've been playing.
Yes, games. And you look at me like I've actually been playing some.
I've got video evidence of you playing something.
They can't see that, so we could try and play this off as if, you're lying. No, I have actually been playing games, and I've been trying to stream them. Out of question, not that the video listeners and the audio viewers can see or hear this. How does that look to you for 720p 60 FPS?
Well, that one up there?
Yeah. I mean, that is a VOD, so it isn't as sharp as it was when I first did it, but...
That looks alright. It's watchable.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't get, if you'd asked me what resolution it is, I probably would have guessed 720 rather than 1080. But it's perfectly watchable.
Cool. Well, because the main reason that it's actually on 720 is simply because of the bitrate restrictions on the site. If I'd have put it onto 1080 with that amount of motion, it'd have just been a pixelated
I know, so you've got
mess.
to think about people watching it as well, because not everybody might have a decent enough connection to want to watch a 1080 stream either.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's going to be 6 megabits. So, but 720 at 6 megabits versus stretching that over that resolution at 6 megabits, that's going to degrade so much more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes, I've been playing games. Fate's Extella. Is it the Umbral Moon? The Umbral Star? The Umbral... 1 second.
You're not meant to be leaving the chair mid-podcast.
Look. The game. I have been playing it. It's, Fate Extella the Umbral Star for Nintendo Switch, published by Marvelous. Is it developed by...
What a great name.
I know, isn't it? It's just amazing.
I love the case. I love the fact that this case is this big. You open it up and say, "Oh,
yeah, there's like a little tiny...
is that an SD card size?"
Pretty much. Because PlayStation Vita cases, I think, are a bit smaller than that as well. And they have...
at that stage, the case has got to be that big just to try and cut down on theft.
Pretty much.
Not going to stop anyone, but it's just like... Massive case, tiny little card.
And not even a fucking manual.
I assumed you had the manual out.
No. The games don't come with manuals anymore.
Manuals are the best bit.
I know.
I love that new manual, that freshly printed manual smell. You go, it's like...
That and, like, you used to have, like...
ink.
You used to have, like... Especially if it was glossy, and if it was in colour, that was, like, a real treat.
I had a real thing for the matte ones, the ones that saw that sort of rough texture, but with really detailed colour, really saw that rough... I quite like them.
For sure.
The feel of them, but...
And you'd always have, like, side story and character bios and things like that.
Depends on the manual, but...
Well, yeah, for sure. Now, none of that. None of it.
All Time Splitters, the manual was the story. The story mode didn't tell you anything. You got a paragraph of text on the story in the game, but in time the manual told you the actual story of what was going on.
See, the joys of manuals that people just won't get these days.
No.
I mean, even when I played this game, I actually had to read the back of the box to actually try and figure out a part of the story. I was like, wait, what? This doesn't relate to the thing of this series that I do know about? What? So, Fate Extella is part of the Fate / series. The Fate series started off as a visual novel back in 2004, I think, on PC, Fate Stay Night, which has absolutely nothing to do with Fate Extella or the two games that came before it.
Right.
So, I own Fate Stay Night, the visual novel. I have the Japanese game with an English patch. Never finished it. But then there is an anime of it. An anime adaptation of the thing. There are a couple of other games. And then there are these. And the Fate Extella thing, there's 3 games in the series. Or 3 games to kind of cover this arc of the story. And I think maybe only this one and the first one came out in English. Which is fine if you play this game and you're like, I have no idea what the fuck is supposed to be going on, because neither does the main character.
That's good.
They pulled the amazing kind of story builder, that amazing plot device called Amnesia. Because I was absolutely clueless. I'd thought that this would have tied in directly to Fate Stay Night or have some kind of link to it. Yes, loosely. In fact, a few of the characters are in it, but they're just palette swaps with different names.
Right.
So, as an example, the character there with the red dress, in Fate Stay Night, she wears a blue dress and her name is Saber. Saber represents King Arthur in Fate Stay Night. In this, it's still Saber, but it's not King Arthur.
Right.
I cannot remember for the life of me who is a Roman king.
Caesar?
No, Nero's...
Nero's a Roman emperor.
Whoever is basically that. Looks exactly the same as the character from Fate Stay Night. So, Medusa looks exactly the same as one of the other characters from Fate Stay Night. The Archer class character that you can play as in this looks exactly like one of the characters from Fate Stay Night, but isn't the character from Fate Stay Night. Lancer, again, but not from Fate Stay Night. So, it was a little bit confusing. Thankfully, the amnesia thing kicked in here, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the main character's like, what the fuck is going on? And... great. So, what this game is, Bard and I have explained Dynasty Warriors style games in the past, right?
Yes.
So, the idea
thousands of enemies, really easy to knock out, and you slash.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a really kind of, I wouldn't say exciting, but really crazy, over the top a hack and slash series where the map is covered in cannon fodder enemies. You play as a significant general, therefore you can just plow through them until you get to another general of reasonable stature.
That's how we know how all warfare works.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. You know, average Joe Farmer gets picked off really easily. Random rich boy over there with his actual suit of armor and actual weapon puts up a reasonable fight. Fate Extella, the Umbral Star, is very much like a Warriors game. Being, I guess, developed and published by Marvelous, it's not going to be of the same caliber as a Warriors game, but it's good enough. Now, Marvelous have also done some of the Hyperdimension Neptunia games. I think mainly Neptunia U and Blind Plus Neptune vs Zombies, which actually play very much like this as a Warrior style game. Senran Kagura, I believe, is done by Marvelous, also the same style of game. And this and something else, but basically they do kind of Warriors knockoffs. I spoke a while ago about Valkyrie Drive, didn't I?
Yes,
they did Valkyrie Drive as well.
Does it play very similar to that?
Yes, very much, except because this is on a Switch and not on a PlayStation Vita, far more enemies on screen. Music is pretty good. Graphics are pretty good considering it's on the Switch. Graphically, it's not actually that much different from, in my opinion, not that much different from the PlayStation 4 version, which is a far more powerful system.
Yeah.
The main difference is that you'll have more enemies on the screen on the PS4. Yeah. However, if you're watching the stream in the background, there's still a significant amount of enemies on the screen.
Oh yeah, but I was watching you take out dozens and dozens at a time.
Yeah.
And I think you said the graphics, I think because it's sort of anime style, not proper, it's not quite, but similar sort of style, and it's got a sort of thing. Your graphics don't have to be as good.
Nope.
Because you can't tell. It hides it well.
Mm-hmm. Just very cartoony and very... you could get away with PlayStation 3 style graphics on this kind of game. Yeah. I do like caricature artworks. So when characters talk, there is an actual kind of drawn version of a character on screen. You can see one now.
Archimedes on there now.
Yeah.
And I like that they actually I've noticed it's not just one picture, as they change as well, depending on what they're doing.
So they actually have different
poses,
kind of, which is neat.
Yeah.
It's got a free mode on it, so you can just basically pick a map and pick a character and hack the ever-loving crap out of everything. It's got some neat mechanics in it, which aren't like Dynasty Warriors, or at least not like a Dynasty Warriors game I have played in recent years. I haven't played Dynasty Warriors since 5. I think we're now up to 8 or 9. Bard played, or was it 7? Bard played the most recent one.
The last Dynasty Warriors game I played would have been on the PlayStation 2, I think.
That would have probably been like either 2, 3, or...
I think it was 3.
I liked 3. 3 was a good one.
I don't remember much. I think I rented it for a weekend type situation.
Not a bad game. Not a bad game. The thing with Dynasty Warriors games, though, is that they actually have a bigger story to tell. They're kind of... they're more dramatized history.
Yeah.
Whereas the Fate games, Senran Kagura games are really just goofy fun.
Yeah.
This plays very much like a Dynasty Warriors game, but as I said, it does have some really interesting mechanics, like each area of a map is sectioned off. A map point is given a level with a number, and for every one of the the more enemies you kill, so let's say it's got a 3 on it, there are 3 kind of guards, bigger, more powerful enemies hidden on that stage. They don't appear until you kill a certain amount of cannon fodder enemies on that screen.
Yeah.
Kill those, get the keys. Once you unlock a certain amount of keys, the boss will appear. You can get those throughout the entire map, and as you get to a certain point, the boss will appear. They have an invasion system, so that, let's say, one of the enemy areas decides to target one of yours, and they will say, right, Zone F is going to be attacking Zone C. You can either go down there and kick the shit out of the guys in Zone F to stop them from launching an attack, or let them attack and then go and gain points for defending that area.
Yeah, so is it better to fight them in your turf, your territory, or is it better to go beyond the offensive?
Go and take them on the offensive, usually. They will...
I wonder if it's like, is it easier to defend your own territory?
Easier to defend, quicker to go and do them in, though.
Yeah.
And you will lose... You won't lose points, but if you want to get the best rank, you want to take over the majority of the map. And the more time you spend dawdling, trying to defend your own areas, they will likely end up mounting extra attacks to come and take out other zones.
So they do like sort of 2 attacks at once.
Yeah, they can do like 2 or 3 different zones will be attacked, and you're like, oh crap! Now I have to try and prioritize which.
And can the zones hold their own for a little bit? So can you
For a little
clear
bit.
one zone, then go back and fight another zone?
For a little bit, though, it will depend on if the zone that is launching the attack has kind of a general in it. So on the map that you're now seeing here, one of the generals is Lu Bu of Dynasty Warriors fame, of Romance of the Three Kingdoms fame.
And he gets everywhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a very, very powerful general. If he launches an attack on an area, you better defend it quick, or go and stop him, because he's just going to take it out, go to the next one, and you will lose so much ground so fast, it's not even funny. So I quite like that mechanic. So many different special abilities. The fact that you can craft and give yourself new weapons, new clothes, new whatever's to change stats. You can level up your character as you go, so the more battles you're in, you get to level up, so it gets easier. You can actually hot swap your character through the middle of the fight. So as I'm playing here, I have access to both Saber, who is a swordsman, and Archer. So I can do long range combat as well just by tapping a button. So if you look on the top left hand of my stream screen, there's an orange box.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, look at the maps. It doesn't look like it lends itself very well to long range.
No, it doesn't. You don't really need to. Archer isn't just long range, but he has a completely different attack style to Saber.
Yeah.
Some people might prefer it. I personally prefer Saber because I can just run. I know her combos better, I know her timing better, I can just run in WoW and be done with it. I can also heal my own units using the right hand button. I have 3, if you look on my screen, I have 3 of 3 hearts.
Yeah.
If I'm running out of health, I can just literally tap the button. The main character who represents you is actually a support character.
Right.
So you are kind of the general, and the person who you control on the map is just one of your subordinates.
Oh, right, okay.
So you can then choose to heal them, or depending on how you craft and assign items, those things will change. So you can swap out to other characters, you can heal other characters, you can give yourself attack buffs and things like that.
Is it fairly strategic, or is it just literally hack slash? From what I've seen so far, it looks mainly just hack and slash.
It can, if you've got a bit of strategy there, or if you know how they're going. So, like I said to you earlier about when they start to kind of launch attacks to ambush your troops, if you know how to combat that, there is a bit of strategy involved. I haven't figured out a way to see if I can tell my troops to do that yet. Maybe that's something they'll teach me later on in the game. Who knows? If not, you could just run in and wail on things. But in this map, if you notice that it says danger in the top corner, I was very close to losing this match for quite a chunk.
Right.
And this is only level 2. So if you do just run around hacking and slashing and not actually meeting stage objectives like taking out the Guardians, stopping attacks, you will... If you just stand in a zone attacking enemies as they spawn, you will lose. Sometimes you really do just have to push forwards, and if you leave your troops to die, you're going to be screwed later on, because rather than having actual generals to defend, you'll just have these little kind of midgy guys that couldn't fight the way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
You'll end up having the same cannon fodder enemies doing defense as what you just hack through in a couple of seconds. But gameplay wise, it's actually really, really fun. It's not as fleshed out and as detailed as a Warriors game. The story is so ridiculous it's not even funny, but if you're willing to accept the fact that the story is goofy as all hell, and because it's by Marvelous, it's going to have a bit of kind of Japanesey, wifey kind of, oh look, hey, that character for some reason's flirting with that character, you're a nervous teenager. It's not that bad. It's almost cringeworthy, but it's kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah.
If you can handle that, these aren't bad games, to be honest. And I think they're actually doing more.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So they definitely look quite fun for what you seem to be having a good time.
Yeah. Once you got into the actual game, into the actual fighting, it's brilliant. But there is a lot of dialogue. There is a lot of story.
What's going on where it seems to switch from being this like actual, actual texture zones, like this sort of zones, all just blocks? What's going on there?
That's when I'm using special attacks. So right now I'm actually powering up into my second special move, which I can't remember what it's called.
It's not Rubik's Cube, isn't it?
Yeah, but basically I have 2 different special attacks. I have tons of different combos that I can assign and level up as I go. And then there you go, Moon Crux and Moon Drive is one of my specials. That just makes me ridiculously overpowered, but also changes my fighting style. So in this point, I'm not really using my sword like I was before. I'm now close combat, punching, kicking, and all that. But I am ridiculously overpowered, but it's hard to do combos. So I will just lose my combo. I could have, a couple thousand hit point combo. As soon as I go into the Moon Crux, I've lost it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other special moves that I use just tend to... One of them will do a shite ton of damage, but not allow me to bring up my combos. So they'll be great for taking out... The Moon Crux is good for taking out generals. Whereas if you want to take out tons and tons of enemies, you use your other special because it just racks up combo points and attacks everyone on screen.
So, I saw that earlier, yeah.
And it's hard for me to explain without you actually being able to sit down and see it.
Yeah.
There is a lot of dialogue in the game between levels. I mean, a lot of it.
I was noticed earlier because we were watching, I suppose, there's a cutscene earlier, and it seemed to go on for quite some time.
There's a fair bit of kind of visual novel story building in between, which is the kind of goofy relationship building stuff. Like, for example, the main character, for some reason, has to say things. So you have to make decisions throughout the story. It's like, oh, you made a really shit decision in that last match, therefore, or in that last battle, we lost loads of people. Why do you have to be such a failure? Your character's morale goes down. If you say something nice, they find themselves being cooler with you, and then you can actually power them up because you unlock ability slots or whatever.
So why would you ever say something nasty?
Because how they react, it doesn't actually read on screen that you're going to actually say something particularly negative, but it might not necessarily be what they wanted to hear. If you kind of get that little sweet spot, they're like, oh, you really do appreciate me, or oh, you do actually like what I do or bring to the team, bam, point up.
Sort of vision of like, well, everybody died, but I don't want you to feel down about it.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. You know,
next time, perhaps not lose us the entire kingdom and not get killed. Just a sort of suggestion. But don't feel down. Don't feel down. I don't want you to get depressed about it. But I'd rather you not let all our troops die.
That's it. That is it. I would like to see more games like this coming out. By the way, Fate Extella, the Umbral Star isn't just available on Switch. PS4 and PC.
Cool.
Most expensive on Nintendo Switch, though.
Of course.
But I will say I do prefer the Switch version up to this point. Just because I can...
Does it make use of the motion controls at all? Or?
No.
No.
But there are going to be plenty of Dynasty Warriors-esque games coming out, and I think there's actually one that Bard would have liked, a One Piece.
Oh yeah, he would have
One Piece Pirates game, There's quite like this, I believe, from Koei Tecmo. Might be Koei Tecmo, I'm not entirely sure. Like that. There are quite a few Warriors style games out on the fucking Switch. I will be playing another one in, I think, a week's time, because Fire Emblem Warriors comes out, which is done by the same people who do Dynasty Warriors. So we'll see how that plays out versus this. Awkward for me to explain this game, to be honest. It's all you can really say is it's Dynasty Warriors with a twist.
Yeah.
Don't play it. If you've watched Fate Stay Night, or you've played Fate Stay Night, or read any of the other Fate stuff, don't come into this expecting them to be the same characters. They look the same, they're not the same. Just a word of warning. But if you like the Fate series, and you like Warriors games, definitely try this one. Don't be afraid to play this game if you haven't checked out any of the Fate stuff, literally because your main character has amnesia, and no one knows who the fuck these people are anyway.
Well, there you go. Right, so I've been, for a slightly bizarre reason, I've been playing Borderlands 2.
Slightly bizarre reason.
Well, I bought some new glasses this week.
Right.
There is a link to this. And I was walking down to the...
Right.
I was walking down to the shop to buy...
Just let me say, I've got some slippers.
Which is why I'm playing Fatal, whatever it is. So I bought some new glasses, and I was walking down to the shop to buy new glasses, and I thought, when did I last buy a pair of glasses?
Why do I imagine you going to like the local corner shop to buy glasses?
It was like that. There's an old local chap in near Centre Road from me who does glasses. He does a very reasonable price. And I went down there, and I was thinking, last time I visited this guy to buy glasses, I was playing Borderlands 1. I thought, I haven't played much of Borderlands 2. So I literally went home and played Borderlands 2. So last time I played Borderlands, I bought a pair of glasses, went home and played it. This time I bought a pair of glasses and went home and played it.
Is that how this works? Like, so next time you buy a pair of shoes, you'll tie it into another game in a series that you
something
played.
like that. Something
I last played Batman when...
I bought like the last pair of Steelies.
Yeah, so...
I'm going to play next Batman then.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. No, so I had picked up Borderlands 2 ages ago, but the issue I had with it then was when I knew it was coming out, I picked up all the DLC very cheap for Borderlands 1 and played through it all. And basically, I burnt myself out on it before I played number 2. Then I played 2, and obviously you're back to square one. And it's like, I just can't. I've burnt myself out. But because it's now been several years since I last played it, I'm back to enjoying it again.
Sure.
So, brief switch of Borderlands 2. Let's see if we've got any comments. Possibly mostly playing Shinken Shino on PS2. Okay.
PS2.
It's an action RPG, an action first-person shooter RPG. It's probably the best way I can describe it. So, first-person shooter with massive lots of RPG elements. Hello, dog. Hello, dog. Don't you dare bark. Go on, dog, through there. No, don't see Skazz. Don't knock everything over. Go on, in there. Good dog, good dog.
The joy of life.
The dog has been removed from the vicinity. So, action RPG, its big key characteristic is all your weapons and gear are randomly generated.
Yep.
So, all your guns will be... start off as a shotgun, and they might have random damage, random reload speed, random capacity. There are special effects and elemental effects. When you shoot somebody, they might set them on fire, or they might be acidic and corrode them, or might be shocking and it'll electrocute them. And they're good. So acidic is great against armour. It'll eat for armour really quickly. Shocking is good against people who've got shields. It'll burn the shields off really fast. And fire is just good against bare flesh. Okay. So each of their own advantages. And some people will be immune to the elemental effects as well. Same with and they may also get things like, for example, in the other game, I had a shotgun that fired rockets. It fired shotgun shells, they turned to rockets as soon as they left the gun. There's this one which was called, I think it was called BK Brothers Wave, and it shot shells and they flew out in a big line and sort of oscillated up and down like a wave on the ocean. And taking people out with that was quite fun because you got to sort of fight through hordes of zombies and stuff.
You say they're randomly generated, so
there are some actual weapons in the game which they've set up.
Okay.
But their damage stats will be levelled. The damage stats will be levelled to you. But also you'll probably be attaining at certain levels anyway. But when you do that mission, they'll be level to you basically, so they're not going to be too shit. You do find that the majority of the guns you get are basically guns you probably won't ever use. You'll probably just sell them off as vendor trash. But then occasionally you'll come across a gun that's like, wow, that's so much better than what I've already got.
Sure.
I've just switched out from a sniper rifle I had, which the description was, I can see my house from here. And that had because I had 11 times zoom on it, whereas most guns have like a 5 or 6.
So 11 would be nice.
Yeah, but I've switched out for one that does more damage. So I'm just that elite, I can shoot people in the head anyway.
For sure.
Maybe a normal sniper rifle. Cool. You don't have you're like this. You don't have regenerating health.
Thank God. Which does occasionally throw me off these days, to be honest.
Well, you don't have regenerating health, but you can occasionally unlock a shield or class mod that does give you it, but it's rare. You have to equip it.
Okay.
It's quite rare. So I had one that regenerated health at 1.4 points per second.
Sure.
Now, when you can get hit by damage that does 200 points in one hit, 1.4 per second isn't really great. It's great when you're not in combat, gives you a chance to rebuild. But the main thing is you have this shield.
Okay.
So as you get shot, the shield takes damage. And if you get into cover, the shield will regenerate itself. So that's sort of like your regenerate health mechanic. When you lose the shield, that's when bullets start hitting your health.
Sure.
And then that's when the pain really starts. Because you can't, unless you've got on the mod, you can't regenerate that. So you may be a case of, right, my shield's up, I've only got 50 health left.
Sure.
If this shield goes down, I'm in trouble. So you'll balance your shields, and shields might have effects as well. So the shield I've got at the moment, when it goes down, fires out a burst of flame in all directions.
Handy.
Very handy again. So you have lots of other enemies up you, and they'll fight you, and one will knock your shield off, and then also this burst of flame goes out.
And they're all gone.
Yeah, a bit, yeah. Well, I had this one bit where I had to set other enemies on fire for a mission, so I literally stood there, let them take my shield out.
They were all like, what's going on? And you're just stood there going,
my shield go out, poof, and then I discovered they're very, very dangerous and nearly killed me. What's going on is when you die, you don't die straight away. You sort of go you get like this little countdown timer on the screen, and you still can use all your weapons and switch your weapons. If you kill somebody before that countdown timer ends, you have what they call a second wave.
Yeah.
And basically you wake up with your shields basically full and your health's about halfway up.
Sure.
So you have got a chance of coming back, even if you're near death. If you do die, it's not a big issue. You simply get respawned at respawn point further back.
Sure.
Anything you've killed stays dead. They do respawn after a certain time, after several minutes, but they generally stay dead.
So don't die.
No, it's true. But if you are fighting like a boss character, so they have these characters called badass characters. So, for example, you might have like an enemy who's like normal, and then there'll be badass versions of them, and they'll basically be tougher, bigger, have more health, and so forth, and do more damage. They're quite nasty. If they kill you, when you come back to them, all their health will be back. It instantly respawns that. Same with all the main boss characters, their health all just comes back. So you do start from scratch. I mean, it's quite nice when you do so. They do give you more ammunition and stuff. They do sort of semi-restock you, ready to fight again. But it is tough, and it's very frustrating if you've got a badass enemy and you're literally about to kill him, and you're on a second wave about to kill him, and then you die, and then you know you're going to back to square one. But it's just part of the challenge. It's part of sort of balancing it. It's not annoying. It's a bit annoying, but it's not that annoying to make you think it's a horrible mechanic. It just seems to be quite sensible.
That's fair.
Combat itself is fun. With all the guns out there, and combat's just chaotic. The enemies you get, they generally switch between. There'll be different types, but generally you have like a shooty type. You have like a tough guy who also approach you with like a shotgun type. You have many. There's these ones called psychos, and they'll just run up to you basically and try and attack you with an axe or what have you.
As you do.
There's the suicide version. They went with a grenade in their hands and they'll set the grenade off.
Bless them.
In this one, they've got enemies that carry shields now, and so you have to try and get past the shields. Occasionally, you get one. Occasionally, I think they're called nomads. Occasionally, you'll get one that's called Nomad Torture. He's got a shield, but he's got like a little midget tied to the front. And as you're sort of shooting him, you can sort of shoot the midget, and the midget gets really upset if you shoot him, obviously. But you can if you shoot just the guy, the midget will get let free, and then the midget will attack you, and you shoot the midget. There's all these little midgets, and they sort of run up to you and scream. They're psychotic as well, and it's quite fun. Little midget shotgunners are quite fun. They run up to you, they shoot you, their shotgun throws them flying backwards. That's fun. It's just funny. It's just funny to do it, and the way the enemies work are deliberately silly. The game doesn't take itself seriously at all. It knows it's got a stupid plot. It knows that the way it all works is stupid. It doesn't care.
That's the best way. It's the best kind. What's the worst games out there are the ones that are absolutely ridiculous that yet still try and stay straight-faced. Like Metal Gear Solid games.
You've
got an absolutely ridiculous plot, but we all have to take it seriously.
Yeah. I will find that tends to be a little bit of a Japanese thing. In general, but this game just doesn't care. It's like, do you know what? It originally was meant to be quite a... When it first came out, it was meant to be like sort of quite... Wasn't it hardcore? It's meant to be like sort of like a set on a planet, and it's all like sort of be like quite realistic and all sorts. And then they basically decided, you know what, fuck it, let's just do C. Because I think it came out when Fallout came out. They looked at Fallout and thought we should look like it. Yeah. So let's fuck it. Let's do it. The art style on it's sort of cell shaded. Yeah. So you have it basically if you pause, it looks like you've paused a comic book.
Sure.
Bit. It works so well. It just suits the style of it perfectly. You've got 4 main characters. They each have like a unique special ability, and it's the first ability you can unlock. So I'm playing a character called Zero, who is he basically can his special ability is to deploy a decoy. He goes invisible and he leaves a decoy just sort of randomly on the ground somewhere, wherever you're aiming, and your enemies will target that, which means you can use that ability to walk around behind the enemies and
you can flank enemies.
Take them out by doing that. So it's great if you're in combat. If you need to get into cover quickly, you just deploy a decoy, and then it gives you a bit of 5 seconds to get yourself shield behind cover to regen your shields and just recover a little bit before they take you out.
I've got Borderlands 2.
Oh, there you go, Borderlands 2.
I had to check. So I'm sure I had one or both. Oh no, I have Borderlands 1 on PlayStation. And,
Borderlands 2. I will say this version does take a little bit longer to get going. Okay. It took me about. I said before. I played it for about. I think the first one I played it for about 3 hours before I sort of stopped.
Sure.
And I picked it up pretty much straight away. So still in the starting area, I picked it up. I'm now level 18. I think there's 69 levels.
It's all good. It's Linux compatible as well, by the way.
Oh, there you go. So it's on Linux. It's a great game just to pick up for a little fun blast.
Sure.
It's great. It's like I just fancy killing loads of things. So just go pick up Borderlands. Of course, everything just respawns.
Yep.
You know, that area is a fun area to play through, but they just stay level for what they were. So if you go back there, you can literally sort of go back there, and you'll be facing when you're like sort of like I'm level now. I mean, I had to go back to the starting zone to do a mission, and I was up against all these people because I was like, they had all been leveled to like level 2 and 3, and I was at the time like level 13. I was just like, every shot was just instant kill, and if you shoot them with someone, if you kill them, they just explode basically.
Yeah, you shred them to little tiny pieces.
It was like that. You know, when one took out my shield, it just like I just killed everybody. In the
shield wipes out the entire map, and you're like, well, guess I better go for a stroll then.
Yeah. Yeah, great fun game. Mechanics are well. You get all your grenades. You can put mods on your grenades. So you all have grenades, but then you get modifiers for them. So modifiers basically will increase damage, increase range, and also what they call the countdown time. So if you want that has 0, as soon as that grenade lands, it explodes.
Sure.
So if you've got one that does a lot of damage and is like big radius, you can chuck it, and as soon as it hits it, it explodes. So if you aim it carefully, you can do a lot of damage really quick. Do a lot of damage. Some might have a countdown like 3 or 4 seconds, and to be honest, at that point, the enemies just walk away from them. Yeah, they know there's a grenade, then they'll walk away. But then you might get ones that have like I've got one at the moment that does burning damage.
Right.
So throwing through enemies, it'll set them all on fire.
Which is neat.
Yeah. But one thing I do miss from it from the first one is my character in the first one had a pet eagle, hawk. That he could send off, and you could equip the hawk with like these elemental modifiers as well.
Sure.
So at one point I had the hawk set up, so I had him fully upgraded. Set him up with corrosive damage. You just go flying off, just randomly hitting an enemy, creating them with crow. You just watch all these enemies gradually dissolve away.
You're like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So how does it tie into the first one? Does it tie into the first
yes,
one at all?
Yes, it is. So it's set about 5 years after. I think 5 years after the first one.
Do they pull the amnesia trick just in case you haven't played
No. So the first one, quick plotline. So the plotline is nonsensical, but the quick plotline story. This world's called Pandora. Basically, it was a mining place. Everybody's doing lots of mining because it's full of minerals. And then when they're mining, it's in its winter. Mm-hmm. It's got winter and a summer cycle of each 7 years long.
Okay.
As its winter cycle when they're doing the mining, it's fine. The summer cycle is all the alien life started waking up, and it was basically just pruning, and the minerals all dried up as well. So basically, all the corporations in charge said, "Fuck it, we're not going to bother anymore." All the people who have money went off world as well because they could just leave. So all that got left was all the companies used to have like criminal labour, so they just let them all loose.
Oops.
And they said, well, we don't care anymore. So all people who are left are basically people who couldn't afford to get off world.
Sure.
So, but there was these rumours of this thing called the Vault, which supposedly contained lots of alien weaponry, really powerful. And you played a Vault Hunter who's trying to find the Vault.
Sure.
And at the end of the game, you find the vaults, and this is a spoilers for a game that's about 10 years old. And inside, and you can guess from the name of the game, the planet's called Pandora. Do you think there's lots of nice things in the vaults?
Hell no.
No, it was this big, horrific creature that basically was called the Destroyer of Worlds.
Which is often the way a planet out in the middle of nowhere is used as a prison for.
Yeah. And you basically had to kill it and put it back in its vaults. And as a real insult, it dropped loads of shit gear. So they wanted to sort of say, well, nothing good comes out of Pandora's box, so have loads of shit gear. It's like, cheers, guys. All great things, you could add the New Game Plus, and you basically start the game, and everybody gets leveled up to your character. So basically, your character gets carried over, and everything gets leveled up to you. And so like I mentioned, the badass, they became like sort of like motherfuckers.
Oh my god!
Because they're more powerful. It's just fun. It's a great thing. Don't take it seriously. So this one is set 5 years later. One of the big corporations, Hyperion, wants to basically get hold of the vault itself. Now it knows what's in there. They want to basically get control of it themselves.
Not weaponise or...
Yeah.
Sure.
And they've got this guy in charge called Handsome Jack, who is... Well, he's obviously the bad guy, obviously. But
yeah, because you've got the Handsome Jack trilogy now. I mean, or something like that.
Yes, yeah. But he's a brilliant character. He's just so funny. He's all like says, I've got a secret to tell you. I've got a secret that I'm going to let you know about. But not until after I've killed you. That sort of stuff. It's just funny. And you're game playing Vault Hunter, who basically trying to stop Handsome Jack. He wants to get into the vault, and you're trying to stop him doing that.
Sure.
So you've got to try and stop that Handsome Jack and basically control Pandora. One of the bad thing about it is that they went DLC mad. It's got something like 40 DLCs for it.
Would you say this was about the time, wasn't it, Borderlands 2, where games went quite DLC mental? They wanted to see how far they could push.
Yeah, I mean, all the DLC is cheap, but still, to buy it all is going to cost you over £100.
Sure.
So
when the combined cost of all of your DLC is more than the value of the actual game itself, you have to wonder what the publisher or developer were thinking. Like, oh, we really need to recoup costs at this point. Or
I mean, some of the DLC is quite worth it. Some of it is like all new character classes, and some of it is like whole new story story missions.
In the case of the character classes, do they drastically change gameplay, or are they just kind of slight changes?
Everybody's different. Every character class has its own unique free upgrade trees. So you get one point skill point for every time you level up, and they all have free upgrade trees that are unique to them. So my character, he's got an upgrade tree around sniping, an upgrade tree around his special abilities, an upgrade tree around it because I'm an assassin, an upgrade tree around his sword skills.
Sure.
And so the sniper one, like I've upped it so every weapon I have has a better scope than it should have.
Sure.
So as you do certain challenges, you unlock badass points.
Right.
So basically, every time you complete so challenge would be something simple like level 1 challenge would be kill 10 Skazz. Okay. Like these dog things. You kill them and you get a bad point. Next one will be like kill 50, then 100, and 250, and 500. And when you get them, as you get more badass ranks, you unlock badass points, and these are basically you can create permanent modifiers.
Okay.
So, for example, you basically, when you select them, you'll get, there's like about 13 different modifiers you can have, and you'll be randomly pick 5 of them, and you can pick one of those 5. So, for example, you might have one that does gun damage, and you pick it, and all your gun damage will be increased by 0.7%.
Sure.
And if you try and do the same one again and again and again, it'll pull it out of the list, so you can't pick and overpower a single skill.
Sure.
And obviously, the higher it goes, you have to do a lot more badass ranks before you get a point to spend. But yeah, I've now got like all my guns do now about 4% damage than what they were doing, and my shields regenerate a lot quicker. So yeah, it's quite cool in that respect. It works quite well. What's other interesting about it is all the enemies. You get critical hits, so obviously in your combat. So a human, the critical part's the head,
Sure.
which makes sense. So a normal shot from my rifle does like 200 points of damage. For him in the head, I'll do 2,000 points of damage.
Sure. That's a mechanic that was also used in games like Destiny, The Division, I
think critical hits on the head on humans is pretty standard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like the way that they changed it based on enemy type. Because a lot of games started using the kind of RPG shooter style mechanics where you would actually have visible hit points.
Yeah, that's what this has got as well. So
yeah.
as you shoot them, hit points come off them as well. And it'll say critical when you shoot them.
Yeah.
But like the Skazz, for example, their critical bit is their mouths. But they open their mouths to fire acid at you, and then that's their critical shot. So if you get them straight in the mouth, you'll kill them really quick.
Sure.
You've got like spider ants, and they're quite clear. Their critical bit is their abdomen, but they're all armoured on the front. So when they come at you, if you shoot them from the front, you'll do very little damage. But sometimes they'll bull rush you, and so you have to they charge you to sort of jump out of the way.
Sure.
So you can then turn around and shoot them in the back, or like some ones that fire like long range at you, they fire from that. I mean, they shoot at you. If you've got a sniper rifle, you can aim for the scope and shoot as they're aiming up.
Sure.
Or if you hit them right in the head, you can daze them, and they'll sort of wander around. They can walk around behind them and shoot them.
Sure.
So they've thought about it. Although the combat it's a silly game, they have thought about how the combat works, and it is decidedly unfair. They will happily throw, right, we're just going to chuck 50 of these buggers at you.
Yep.
Deal with it. And it's fun. It's there when it is hard, but it's fun hard.
It doesn't feel. You say it's horribly unfair at points, but it doesn't feel nasty or cheap. It's there to say, here you go, fucking
have fun.
do this.
This is going to be an absolute challenge. You're going to die 20 times, but you're going to have fun doing it.
That's it.
And that's fine. That's fine with me. So it's not unfair fun and not unfair hard. So yeah,
sure.
It. But yeah, Borderlands. You can. It's now reasonably priced on Steam. Always goes on sale in the sales. Always goes on.
I think they actually had it on sale the other week.
It's on Humble Bundle at the moment as well.
Yes, Humble Bundle.
We'll talk about that later.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Actually, let's see if Borderlands 1 is on Steam.
Yes, it is on Steam because I've got
for
it on
Linux.
Steam. Well,
I know I haven't got it on Linux, but there we go.
See, Borderlands still at 30 odd quid. You bought in 2017. That's impressive.
Something like this, yeah. I don't know what I just pegged there.
98, so you're fine.
Cool. Oh, it's Windows only. Interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's from 2008, I think. 2008, 2009.
Sure, it just winds me up that we get the sequel, but they haven't bothered to port the first one.
Yeah, but I mean, the sequel's still it's still reasonably expensive. Although to be fair, a lot of the DLC. I mean, I can't see what the price. I think it's $6.30 from here.
Let's have a look.
£6.30 by the looks of it.
Downloadable content for Borderlands 1 is at £25.20
for a whole lot.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's a bit expensive for not such an old game, but they do add a hell of a lot of content. Those DLCs.
Sure.
They add whole new areas, whole new enemy types. I've just mentioned something that I've mentioned. All new enemy types, all new weapons and so forth. Works quite well. I mentioned it's co-op as well. You can have the 4 players co-op as well.
Always a bonus.
It's not the world's best implemented co-op. So basically, when you go into it, that's the only downloadable content available.
£116 in DLC.
54 pence. And the game is 40 quid by itself, so it's nearly 3 times as much.
Currently 20.
20. So it's 6 times as much for the DLC virtually.
See, good times.
Good times to be alive.
That's it.
But to be fair, nearly all of it is optional anyway. You don't need.
Sure.
Most of it's like all like
Cosmetic stuff. Or
cosmetic stuff, and they're like those like so you might look and go, I really like that, and you'll buy it for 79p. So
sure,
it's not that. But I say the first one, the DLC is expensive, but you do get a lot for what it is. You get a hell of a lot of content for that money, so I won't besmirch it for that. So I'll say it's expensive, but for its individual parts, reasonably good value for money. But it's still a lot of money for the game. But yeah, so that's Borderlands 2. So yeah, I'll pick up in a sale. Do not buy it normally because it will cost you way too much. Wait for the Christmas sale, the Halloween sale, the summer sale. Pick it up then. It always goes cheap during the sales.
In all the sales.
It always goes cheap. Wait for them and pick it up.
So
Right, so
let's see. Hollow Knight. Haven't played it. Lots of people have told me good stuff about it.
this is in the comments. We should just point out for the audio viewers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good choice in giving up on Metal Gear. Or Metal Gear Solid. Can't say Metal Gear because I always scream at people when they say, oh yeah, Metal Gear is great. No, that's the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid is a completely different thing. But good job on giving up on it. Worthless series. I say that. It's not bad. But it ain't as great as people say it is.
No.
And Hideo Kojima is clearly on crack or something.
Oh, hell yeah.
When he's coming up with them stories, it's like, have you actually spent any time writing this, or are you just making it up as you go along? And he's just like, he's sat there smoking a joint whilst injecting something. And
yeah. I think that's just not that part of the course, isn't it? Like, we can't do any story work today. Hideo couldn't afford any crack. So, it was a business expense. Anything else exciting in there?
there we go. The fact that Lufia for SNES was actually Lufia 2 in the USA. I'd like to throw out there. I just want to. When games come out over here, and it turns out that we get a sequel, or like what we get is the first game in the series, but it's actually a sequel. So, and he's just going to said about Lufia 2 being. Or Lufia being Lufia 2 in the States. Monster Rancher was Monster Rancher 2 in America.
Oh.
Which was annoying. Dynasty Warriors, as an example. Dynasty Warriors 2 is actually the first in the series.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because over here, we already had a beat-em-up fighting game called Dynasty Warriors. So they decided that because it had the same characters in it, they would just call it Dynasty Warriors 2. Right. But Dynasty Warriors 2 is actually the first of that type of
games.
Yeah.
So it was a beat 'em up, did you say, the first one?
Yes. The first one over here. In Japan, it's still... In Japan, what is basically Dynasty Warriors 2 is just the first one.
Right.
Whatever they called it. I can't remember what they actually called it in Japan. It's number 1. So, good job naming things, naming conventions, completely throw that out the window. Numbers and titles and subtitles, just...
Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Your second... it's a game you played several times before, but
yes.
It's the most recent event tied to the game.
Yes, we always talk about the Splatoon 2 Splatfest. We did mention last time when Millmeister was here, didn't we? Which, by the way, Millmeister isn't here. He's been replaced with a microphone.
To be fair, I'll get more scent on the microphone. So it's quiet.
That's good. That's good. You know why he's not here? Probably because he hasn't finished those 2 RPGs I told him to play.
Probably.
He'd better be playing them now, otherwise I'm going to have to give him a mark.
I think he's bought a new game as well. He was telling me the other day he's bought something new for his... I think he's getting a Switch.
It's about bloody time. We've only got 3 of them in this house. We're planning on getting another one soon.
Yeah.
We're getting another one soon. And maybe another one after that.
Why do you need 5 Switches for?
Well, one more for the wife. and then the fifth
Why
one.
does she need 2 switches for?
Well, because she has, well, one more switch based on the 3 that we've got, 4th one for the wife, and then the 5th one for reasons.
For luck.
Yeah, you know, why not?
For when the hero breaks the first one, gets the 5th one.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's the drill. Yeah.
Normal switches, or are you going to get a customised switch?
Well, if I wanted to customise a switch, I could do that with any of them, to be honest. I'd probably just do that to mine, but...
But are you buying the normal versions?
Yeah, we'll just buy normals. Well, in fairness, they're all normal. I mean, they're not really...
I thought that was the one you got at the moment was like an additional one or something.
No. So even the Splatoon edition of Nintendo Switch, sarcastic air quotes here, folks, not that the audio viewers can hear that. The Splatoon edition of Nintendo Switch over here didn't have anything specific that made it the Splatoon edition shy of a copy of Splatoon 2 with it.
Oh.
Whereas in Japan, the 2 Joy-Cons that I have on my system, for the benefit of the video,
the
video listeners, the Japanese Switch comes with the Splatoon Joy-Cons, which are green and pink. Now...
So did you import those?
No, we actually got the Splatoon Joy-Cons in this country as a separate purchase. So I just bought them separate from the Switch because I already had a Switch. So that wasn't that big of a deal. Plus, I have a few pairs of Joy-Cons anyway for multiplayer games with the kids. But yeah, in America, they didn't get either a limited edition or the Splatoon Joy-Cons. So... For once we got something that America didn't. Woo!
Hey, he makes a change.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there was no edition.
No. I suppose they did that a lot of the Wii U, didn't they? A lot of the Wii U editions, did they not? Or am I misremembering that as well?
No, they definitely had a Zelda special edition, but a lot of the special editions were literally just the standard console with a digital game installed on it.
Oh.
So nothing particularly
boring, really.
Yeah. The Mario Odyssey version of the Switch is going to have probably Mario Odyssey on it installed, and then red Joy-Cons. We will probably get that one.
Yeah.
But in the case of Splatoon, there was nothing special about my Switch versus any other Switch. But yeah, Splatoon 2, the last Splatfest happened. We did mention it in the last podcast.
We did. Add the question, which way round did you go?
It was toilet roll. Do you prefer to have your toilet roll hanging from the front of the roll or from the back of the roll?
I'll try to say vertical.
I chose the loose parts who hang from the front of the roll, mainly because I don't care as long as there's roll.
To be honest, I think I said last podcast, I don't know why everybody debates this, because it's just never always me.
That's it. In fairness, I did come up with a reason as to why I would pick front roll during the Splatfest, because I was trying to find a reason as to why anyone would care, and I actually found a reason why back roll, which just sounds like some kind of back fat thing to me.
Yeah.
Back roll isn't ideal in this house.
Right?
Because
Did you do lots of scientific experimentation to discover this?
Yes, I did.
Day one, they haven't pulled it off properly.
That's it. I sat there and I put my lab coat on. I even put on a pair of glasses.
Safety glasses.
Yep. Took my hat off.
All like sort of
tied my hair back.
So yeah, did you put a hairnet on and a beard net?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
you have a clipboard?
Yes.
And a calculator?
Yes.
Stopwatch?
Yes.
Awesome.
I had a pencil and a pen. Blue and black.
Did you have a microscope to analyse the results?
No, I did not.
Oh, see, that's where you missed out.
I know.
Your data's now invalid.
It is, actually, it is, because then people would have said, hang on a minute, you already knew the answer. I did. Front roll. I chose team front roll.
Right, and was that relative to the house? Did you just experiment first and go, well...
No, I was doing the experiment in my head whilst playing it to try and justify my choice. Right. Because in this house, based on where the bathroom window is and the shower is, if you leave the window open whilst the shower is on, to obviously stop condensation, the wind will blow in through the window. The walls will be covered in condensation of some degree, varying degree. If you have back roll, the wind will just blow the toilet roll onto the wall because the toilet roll holder is right on top of the wall, so you'll just end up with wet toilet roll. So if you have...
But so if you have a front roll, you still end up with wet toilet roll, just like on the back.
No, because the actual roll itself doesn't touch. It's just the hanging part. The hanging part would be closer to the wall to blow into it.
Scientifically, you've proven that you need to have it at the front.
Yes.
I like this.
At least in my house.
At least in your house. Your experience may vary.
Yes.
Is what we're saying here.
Yes.
Cool.
The variables may change. They will change based on your house versus my house.
You see, I always think about it. Front roll, you get better access because if it's against the back wall, you have to sort of like put your hand up behind it, sort of like run against the wall and pull it forwards. Whereas front, it's just ready to go.
It is also there is actually a reasonable reason as to why you would want to go back roll, because you know how people sometimes do that with the roll.
Yeah.
To just basically make it all fall on the floor. If it's back roll, it can't do that because it will just keep on flipping round. You'd have to push it into the wall to get it to unroll onto the floor.
I'm pretty sure I'd get it to unroll quite easily onto the floor from the back.
Well, you probably could, but still, is that the next experiment?
Yeah.
So that's the next experiment.
I'll do it here, if you don't mind.
Oh, I do, because we've only just had people unblock the drains around here, so please don't.
I always have to put it down the toilet, I just have a little pile left.
So pile onto the floor.
Yeah, you can, there's an empty bag of 24 toilet rolls. I've done 12 of each, and you're right, it's definitely harder back roll. I time myself every time and just leave the pile of toilet paper just in the middle of the floor.
Everything changes. Yeah. What are the variables here? Well, when you do it this way, when you have the window open, if there's a shower on, you know, stuffs. Science and reasons.
Get a power draw involved on this.
This is like... I just have this vision of, right, I've got this adapter, right, I've made this this thing, like, you know, like a drill bit that you use to cut, like, circles out of wood, like, big-ass chunks out of wood.
Yeah.
It's just the right size to put my toilet roll on. And then he pushes the power drill to see how fast what is the maximum speed you can get roll off of, or toilet paper.
You probably have to start quite slow to allow it to go down, because if you go too fast away, you should say it will just keep itself on the roll because it'll spin around too quick. So you probably start slow, but once you've got enough off, you could speed up.
Yeah, because it'll just follow down.
This is something we need to test out.
Real science. What's that award? The
Big Nobel Award.
Yes, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that.
Yeah, we can prove which way toilet roll is best. Toy attachments for power tools. I've got my father's got an attachment for his electric screwdriver that undoes wine bottles with corks.
How crazy!
It came in a gift box with the electric screwdriver.
I can just imagine your dad sat there with a power drill.
He loves it. He loves it. Yeah, he puts it on the right, just pulls it back, and just goes straight in and pulls the cork out. It's really good. It works really well. He's so impressed by it.
For all wine connoisseurs out there, you need your power drill. Is that what you give to like rednecks who drink wine?
No, they just like smash rednecks drinking wine.
No, I'm just saying like that's what a redneck would do. Like if they were given wine and like, well, how the hell do I open this? They just end up getting their power drill.
Get an axe and chop the top off, wouldn't they?
Well, that's what they did in Scotland.
No, Scotland's relative. Don't compare Scotland to rednecks.
I can't.
But that's just very unfair. I mean, Scotland, at least, the people there have got some sense.
Let's be fair. In Scotland, they just bite the top of the bottle off.
No, they'd smash the bottle on their friends. They smash the bottle on someone they didn't like's face and then lick it up from the floor.
No, they'd do the person in for wasting the alcohol.
Yeah. Don't you dare restart Windows.
Oh dear, we've just had a pop-up. But yeah, I chose front roll. Team front roll won it.
Yay!
So... From
your point of view, is this 2 victories your choice has had, or 3?
2, I believe.
So it's even for you.
Yeah, it was actually quite a close one, to be honest. But yeah.
So Nintendo have proven that front roll is the best.
Yes, it's official. The next Splatfest has already been announced as well.
Oh, go on.
The first weekend of next month will be Vampires versus Werewolves.
I wonder why that would be. What would that be? Werewolves, clearly.
I think it's got something to do with Christmas, hasn't it?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that one.
It's Thanksgiving. Is it traditional to have a werewolf at Thanksgiving? Or
definitely
something?
A blood-sucking holiday.
Yeah. So, vampire werewolf.
I'm going vampire just because I'm a Castlevania fan.
Oh. But don't you kill vampires in Castlevania?
Yeah, that's not the point. Well, actually, yes, you do, but then in Symphony of the Night you play as one, and in Castlevania 3 you play as a vampire.
Cool. I would go werewolf.
For what reason?
I like dogs.
Well, yeah, you have a fair point.
You know,
the only real negative I can find to it is Vampire's Twilight. You know, the sparkly.
Oh, that is true. You might be a sparkly vampire,
But
and you can't go out in daylight. Although that's not much difference for yourself.
what? Look, I'm British. I've never seen the sun.
That's a good point. Does the sun have to actually be shining for vampires? Because if it's overcast, is it fine?
You just saying they've got like a vitamin D intolerance or
I think it's probably the case. It's like, well, Britain is besieged by vampires because it's always overcast.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the thing is, from a practical point of view, werewolfing only affects you for one day of the month, maybe two. Whereas vampires, every single bloody day. Oh, I've got to drink some more blood today. Great.
Oh, great.
Fed out of butt. Can't I just be addicted to, be a vampire to McDonald's or something?
Well, you never know.
That'd be expensive.
They've probably tried to kind of wean themselves off of blood and tried to come up with some kind of substitute, like myself and Iron Brew.
Iron, you see, it's the iron in the blood, you see.
So there you go. Now we know.
The only trouble being a werewolf is the grooming charges. Oh, they're extortionate.
God damn it.
Yeah. And you do murder people without realising what you're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
No, I will completely justify anything that those poor bastards have to go through.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you know, same with old Kim. You know, he gives us the sun. Once
Here
every...
comes the sun. Thank you, Kim Jong Un.
See, it has to be done.
Once again, audio viewers, Skazz is now reading the comments.
Let's see. Toilet sides. That's what we're now doing. Toilet sides.
Toilet sides.
And werewolves, obviously, because Gay Werewolf Hunters is the sequel to Lesbian Vampire Killers.
I can't still figure out why that's a reason to go well. But yo, dig it. You know, he comes to join his canine friends. I was a werewolf in Skyrim.
I will say vampirism in Skyrim, not Skyrim, fucking Oblivion. Oh, patch it, but there's the please.
It's a real pain in the arse, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, you know it's bad when you're sort of like, I'm a supernatural creature, but it's just a hassle.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a real hassle being.
It was a nice way for Bethesda to rinse any extra money out of people, though. Yeah, there's a known bug where the vampirism quest is glitched. PC players, pull down that console. Console players, pony up some cash.
That's the irony. The PC players have to use a console to fix everything.
Yeah.
The console players can't do that.
It's like, oh my god.
It's like
they got the money out of me, by the way.
Yeah, so there's always in any Bethesda Elder Scrolls game, there's always one quest that is so broken that you only do using a console to fix it or patch.
Oh, it's just so bad. Patch? Don't say patch. Bethesda don't know how to patch anything.
That's what they call DLC.
Yeah, that's it. Board meeting, right.
We need to launch a new patch. You mean DLC? Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Can we charge them for fixing a bug in our game?
Yes, we did it with horse armour. We sorted it.
What annoyed me with vampirism in that game though was that it was basically a random dice roll every time you slept.
I thought it was if you got attacked by a vampire.
No, because when I got vampirism in Oblivion, I had gone to sleep, and then I had a nightmare that I had been attacked by a vampire in my castle or wherever it was that I was, and then I'd contracted vampirism.
You see, that's interesting because I fought a vampire and I got contracted the disease, and then I went to bed, and then I got that message about sleeping.
Sure. So I don't remember fighting.
Whether it's because I contracted the disease, I actually noticed they were linked together. Mm-hmm. Maybe they are. But I wonder if it's possible that perhaps I got the random dice roll as well, but because I'd already contracted it, I didn't think anything about it.
I always assumed it was a dice roll because I'd not seen a vampire in that playthrough.
I looked up vampires, I looked at how much of a hassle they were, so yeah, I just got the console and removed.
Yeah, good job there.
Remove the effect.
Initially, it wasn't too much of a problem, but in the later stages of vampirism in those games, it's impossible to do anything because obviously you
can't go out during the day, can you? Because you actually sort of lose health constantly.
So you start to burn, and you are clearly a vampire at this point because your skin just starts to disintegrate during the daytime. So no one will talk to you at all, right? You can't go out during the day because you die. You're getting attacked. We're getting health taken away from you, so you can't fast travel.
Oh, I suppose you can't, can you?
Right. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, and obviously if you're traveling around at night, everywhere's fucking locked. So if you needed to do a quest and the only way you could do it was at night time, you can't because they've all shut up shop.
Yep.
So the only way to actually continue with the game is to cure vampirism. But if the quest to do it is bugged, you're instantly like, I was like, right, how do we cure vampirism? Cool, let's go and do. Why is she attacking me? What the fuck? You're supposed to be caught. Oh, I'm sorry. Run away. She was flying with me a minute ago when she gave me the quest.
You know that they had the exact same bug in Skyrim. When they added vampires to Skyrim, there were people reporting they went to like the vampire's castle where the vampires live. You gain vampirism, and they all turn on you.
And you're like,
and they're vampires as well.
What bastards?
Yeah. Once again, you've proven that being a werewolf with the companions goes far better because it's only a problem once a month. Once a month, I need to lock myself in a kennel, and I'm fine.
That's it. Locks himself in his little shed.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to now have to check up to see if it was being attacked by a vampire that caused it, but I'm almost certain I hadn't been. Then again, I haven't played Oblivion in a long time.
Oh, there you go. That's a measurement of time, obviously.
Yes, a long time. It's the same as Google and YouTube's a moment. Not quite a shake.
Right. I can't remember. Yeah. It's comments time again, audio listeners. Audio viewers.
What a random dream.
Yeah.
Oh god. Annie, mate, seriously. What's the deal? I think he's had one too many bad cookies. Or a duffer glass of milk. When it goes green, it's probably not safe to drink.
Have I ever told you my pig loading dream I had once? So
is this safe for podcast?
This is safe for work. I was on the farm and we were meant to be loading pigs up the next day. Next morning about 4 a.m. we're going to get up and we're loading all the pigs up to go off to become bacon. And I was staying in, there was like a stable on site I was staying in for a couple of nights to do this. I was staying there and I have this dream where the farmer throws in the door and he goes, the lorry's here, you need to get up, he's here, we've got to get on with it. It's like, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, he's early, doesn't matter, he's here, we need to go on with it, come get up. To be fair, he's like that normally when we're loading, so it felt quite realistic. So, next thing I know...
So he wasn't wearing a tutu in the dream?
No,
just trying to give you any hints that it was
I'll be there. So next thing I know, you know, dreams just jump. And so I jumped and we're outside, we're loading pigs up, we're at the bit, we've got the pigs ready to go, and the ramp's there, and basically the ramp, pigs walk up to the lorry. And I look at the lorry, and it's one of those like kiddie rides you have in the supermarkets. And I'm shocked. They're not going to go on there. You're not going to get all 100 pigs on there. There's not enough space. And he's just, we'll get them on. Just do it. We'll get them on. I'm just going, I'm being really reasonable. I said, you're not going to get them on there. We have an argument in the dream about whether we get the pigs or not. It then jumps again, and for some reason the pigs are on the lorry. I don't know how much we got onto this lorry.
You put 20p in.
Well, we're sat there, and he goes, right, okay, we did it, good. And we're about to go, the driver gets out, and he goes, so we've got 50p. And then I woke up.
Oh,
and I woke up to my alarm going off. It's like, oh, it's 4 a.m. We've got to go load pigs in half an hour. I better get up.
What a crazy ass dream. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
When I have dreams, it's literally, it's time to get the kids to school.
Yeah.
How exciting. Or, hey, it's a weekend. And then all of a sudden my alarm goes off. Yeah. No, I've got to get the kids to school.
I get quite frequent those falling dreams. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get them quite. I probably get one at least
one when you
jump awake.
Yeah.
I get one at least one of those once a month or so.
Lucky you, at least you're asleep when you have that feeling. I'm fucking usually wide awake. See, because I'm an insomniac, I very rarely get the chance to actually have a dream. So I'm just like sat there going, that is why I'm such a plank most of the time. Because I'm running on zero sleep 2/3 of the time. Words fail me constantly because I'm just on the edge of consciousness.
Right. Splatfest.
Yes.
Done?
Yeah. We did team front roll. We're gonna go team vampire this time round. None of that stupid Elder Scrolls vampirism crap. You never know. My mind might change by the first weekend the next month.
You've got a head of a werewolf on your wall, I've just noticed.
Yes, I do. We need vampires somewhere in this house. At this point, Skyrim comes out this month or next month?
I thought it came out November 11th, 2011.
See, well, guess what? Nintendo Switch is getting it either this month or next month.
Ooh.
Yay! And
do you think they'll fixed it by then?
Oh man, you should go to Vegas for that act. It's just amazing. You'd make millions. You'd make absolutely millions. Bethesda releasing a game that works.
Apparently, whenever I have falling dreams, I go, yay, skydiving. Goodness. Whenever I have falling dreams, I can go, ground. Oh, I'm awake.
Oh, shit. Duck. Oh, good time.
Occasionally, I have dreams where same thing. I'm usually getting hit by something like a train or a lorry.
I've never had one of those.
They're quite rare. I've only had that about 2 or 3 times, but yeah, I'll just suddenly sit there and think, oh, there's a lorry coming. Really quickly.
Look, it's Euro Truck
I
Simulator.
can't move. I'm driving it. Yeah. Boom, I'm awake now.
Often had those dreams where you are trying to run to something or run from something, and you're getting nowhere fast. Like everything just feels like a right drag to do it.
Yeah, I don't think I've only had those a few times. Those sort of running dreams.
The running dream where you're about to knife someone, but just as you're about to stick the blade in, all of a sudden everything feels really heavy and slow. Yeah. And somehow, even though you were guaranteed to gut the bastard, they still got away.
Most of my dreams do involve
brutal violence.
I've never dreamed about computer games or dreams, but most of them involve generally farming or farm animals. Not in any dodgy way.
He has to say it because you never know.
People know me. That's why I have to say it. They know they're going to ultimately assume.
Oh, that's almost as funny as Bethesda releasing a working game. You're fucking silly, you are, aren't you? Well, let's see. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Stardew Valley came out on the Nintendo Switch this month and is the top seller.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Let's see.
Such a disappointing game.
I think he's putting over 200 hours on that game.
I don't get it. I don't get why it's just frustrating.
Fire Emblem comes out on the 20th. Super Mario Odyssey comes out on the 27th. Your personal favourite.
Hey, Farming Simulator 17. Oh, there's Skyrim just below it.
Oh, 17th of next month.
It's virtually 6 years today, near enough.
Marvellous.
There you go.
I might pick it up, although I won't be picking it up on launch. I want to actually see if Skyrim being portable will actually make me want to kind of maybe possibly play it. Because strangely enough, I've played more games on the Switch, stuff that I wouldn't have ever thought of playing.
It is quite incredible to think that Skyrim, when it came out, was quite a potent, you need a reasonably pokey PC to play it decently.
Yep.
And now it's come out on a portable console.
Yeah, now you've got it on what is effectively a tablet.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. That's one of the things I like about this. Don't get me wrong. Graphically, a lot of the games aren't going to be anything fancy. Resolution's going to be lower, but you've still got what was once a full-blown PC game in a portable.
Yeah.
I mean, we never had that years ago. The closest thing we had to that was, say, the Sega Nomad. You'd take your console, you'd take your Mega Drive game and take it on the go, or the Master Gear converter, put Master System games in the Game Gear. Super Game Boy, taking the Game Boy game and putting it on a Super Nintendo. Not the kind of the reverse, but you know what I mean. And bless Sony for trying the Vita TV and the Vita. We don't want console experiences on the go. Clearly we fucking do.
Yeah. Because
this thing's selling like crazy. That and Doom. Doom 2016 is coming out soon.
Of course.
Sometime between now and Christmas.
Yeah.
They've said, it is going to be much lower res than its current console counterparts. It's not going to be as pretty as the PC version, obviously.
Yeah,
but you've got Doom 2016 with multiplayer in your pocket.
Have you seen that picture of the guy playing Skyrim with his PS3 on a train?
That must be bizarre.
He's got his TV on the seat, and he's got his PS3 there, and it must be a train that's got power ports. And he's all plugged in. He sat there playing Skyrim on the train.
As you do.
Yeah.
Jesus. I still think about it though. Like, think about all of the things that we've had, or things that we've done over our lifetime. Like, computer advancement. Once upon a time, if I could go back in time and say to myself, in the future, you will be able to buy a computer that is the size of a credit card, and you will be able to store and play every game from the Atari 2600 all the way up to the PlayStation 1 in one place easily. Or you will be able to play... Yeah, you will be able to play complete collections of games on a phone.
I remember when flash drives came out, when they actually sort of came out, and they were just magic. You know, all of a sudden I've gone from using floppy disks or maybe CDRWs, and all of a sudden I've gone from those to a little stick that holds more than 10 times as much. You know, because it's in those days the first one had was 16 megs.
Yeah, for sure. You'd have
like
little
it holds 10 times as much, and it's like all my course could be on 1 mil memory stick. It just plugs in, it's quick, and it does it quickly and fast, and job done. And that was like sort of the year after we were using floppy disks for everything, and the year after also these flash drives has appeared.
Yep, all of a sudden floppy disks were obsolete, and we moved on.
And it's just weird.
Imagine going back in time and telling yourself you will be able to fit 256 gigabytes on something the size of your little fingernail.
Yeah. I remember one of my first big gaming rig I bought had a 60 gig hard drive in it.
60 gigs, Jesus. My first...
And that was monstrous. That was meaty then. 60 gigs, like, wow, 60 gigs.
My first PC, it was basically a 2 gigabyte hard drive, but once you'd installed everything on it, it was 1.6 gigs or 1.2.
Yeah. This was actually like sort of like 53. It was you obviously lost some. 60 gigs, what the company says, is not 60 gigs what Windows says.
Yeah, for sure. That's I can't actually remember what the reason for that is.
It's because all the
allocation tables. Or
it's because all the companies measure hard drive space in 1,000 megs is
rather than 1024,
which is what computers measure it in.
Cheeky bastards.
Yeah, they all do that though.
Marketing.
Yeah.
For the win.
So all my 4 terabyte hard drives are like sort of 3.92 terabytes because once you
cheeky bastards.
Yes.
Do you reckon anyone's actually tried to like do them for that? Excuse me. Where's my extra couple fucking gigs, you bastards? I paid for that.
Well, they've not stopped in the last 20 years, so clearly it's working for them.
It blows my mind now that we can actually get 4 terabytes in 2.5-inch form factor. That blows the fact now that we've got SSDs that hold 2 terabytes of data.
Yeah.
Don't trust SSDs anymore though.
No.
I had one fail the other week.
Really?
Yeah, just completely catastrophically failed.
Wow.
Potentially the bad solder joints on the actual main controller of the thing. If I managed to reflow it, which I don't have the skill to do, then I could probably get my data off of it. But the entire drive is stone dead.
Can't plug into a different PC.
No, it doesn't even take power. The controller has failed.
Oh, the controller on the drive has failed.
Yes, it's failed.
So I thought you meant the motherboard side of it.
No, it's brown bread dead.
Oh no.
Admittedly, I have had that drive for a while, and I didn't follow any SSD care etiquette. Leave XYZ percentage of space free for where it's moving data around to different sectors of the drive to keep. What's the words I'm looking for? Basically, the lifespan of a drive of an SSD is horribly just cut it. You could cut it in half, cut it to a quarter, based on how much data you leave free for read writes and moving shit around. If that space is already full, you are literally pounding the ever-loving crap out of the last few gigs on the drive, which will then cause it to fail much faster than... I'm oversimplifying because I can't think of a way to explain it, but...
No, I get what you're saying. That's why I've now paying for off-site backups of everything.
Yes.
I think I pay £8 a month for unlimited off-site backups.
It's unlimited, truly unlimited.
Yes.
See, my only problem there is I still don't like storing data off-site.
It's just now I've got so much of it, and it's not because I want the case. If I want, I just think myself, if I lose a hard drive, I lose a heck of a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I've got a hard drive with all my videos on. If I lose that, I lose everything.
I've had drives.
So that's the reason I've got off-site backups. Is that I don't plan to use it very often, but it's there for when the worst happens. I've got a backup.
So it's like people who use iCloud and that, iCloud and iPhoto and Google Photo. I don't use that kind of stuff.
They're not value for money though.
No, they're not. But I don't. Like I say, I don't use any off-site backups just because I don't find them particularly secure or safe.
No. You are putting trust in the people out there, but I'd rather put some trust in the people that they store off-site than if I lose it, I lose everything.
Sure.
I'd rather do that.
I would still prefer to have data on another drive and then move that off-site.
Yeah, I've gone down that route, but I sort of the cost of it, the cost of backing it all up manually, it's just not. It's just it costs you so much. You know, I could pay for like 6 years worth of storage off-site for the cost of buying enough hard drives to back everything up.
Agreed.
And then if your house burns down, you've lost those drives as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, not if you've moved them off-site, but
then if you move them off-site, where is off-site? For me, I've got nowhere to move them off-site to.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a family house.
Yeah, I haven't got that. So to me, I've got nowhere to move.
That's one and the same for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
I suppose. But no, well, I couldn't really go unlimited because I have easily probably gone over 20 terabytes now.
They've not complained about my 12.
Yeah, but that's 12. That's not 20, and that's going up a lot.
Yeah.
Near daily at this point. It's actually probably more than that. Just I'm having to be incredibly conservative about what I do these days because I can't afford to keep having or keep going out and buying new drives. Yeah. We figure I could probably fill, as crazy as this sounds, I could probably fill an 8 terabyte drive a month if I was doing things as I should. 8 terabytes a month. So, I mean, the last 8 terabyte drive we got in June, we had about a week left in June. I probably maxed it out in 3 weeks.
That's pretty good going.
So, off-site backups might be a bit of a problem for me. That's
still worth looking into.
That and BT would have an absolute hissy fit. My ISP would have an absolute hissy if I...
Yeah, well, if you're doing that, if you're creating that much data, then yes. I mean, in my case, it was a case of I put an awful lot of stuff through it over the course of a week. But then all it does is, because it's quite good, because it just looks at my drives and it just looks for differences.
Yeah.
And looks for file changes. But they I have to find out, I can't remember who they are. I can't remember the name of them. I'll find the name out for the next podcast.
Spider.
Can't remember now.
Alright.
But they actually will keep, I think it's 2 versions backed up. So you can roll back.
Useful.
Very useful. So they just back everything. Yeah, so it's once you've done your initial backup, it's only stuff that changes that's new that gets backed up to it.
The only stuff I tend to protect these days is generally stuff I do for other people. My own stuff, and I have a very horrible kind of mindset with my own stuff. You could literally run shred on all of my own personal hard drives. I don't really care at this point.
Yeah.
I've got too much data to be able to actually go back through and look at any one, or to find any one thing. To be honest, even... I
suppose in a way, for a lot of your data and Skazz stuff, a lot of them effectively are backed up by YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Effectively.
Well, I mean, those are very abridged versions of what I used to film these days, though I tend to just film for the edit. Yeah. Once upon a time, I used to film like hours and hours and hours of footage that would then get cut down to like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
These days, I don't tend to do that. I don't take pictures of the wife and kids that much. I just want... I've got to the point where I just want to appreciate the moment rather than living it through my camera.
Yeah.
I know I see so many people these days with their camera out constantly in front of them, and it kind of creeps me out a bit.
Yeah.
Enjoy that time rather than filming it, because 9 times out of 10 you ain't gonna look back at it.
No.
So
no, I'm relatively, because I ain't got many photos on my PC really. I mean, I've probably got a couple thousand. That's over the last like 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So it's not that many really.
I lost most of my photos between. Most of the photos I had between 99 and 2004 gone. Couple drive failures and some other bits and bobs. I have too much data. Yeah. I've got friends that still have photographs from back when we were teenagers, and that I don't have any of that stuff anymore.
No.
And honestly, I don't really care.
Fair enough.
So, whilst it would be nice to be able to look back at, I'm not the kind of guy that lives in the past.
No.
Whilst I do, like I said, I did make a lot of videos and stuff like that and take a lot of photos, I'm not really interested in me. I'm more interested in documenting other people.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Cool. So moving on to other things.
Yes.
So I briefly mentioned in the last podcast that I'd picked up Warhammer 40k tabletop.
Yep.
Again, I've now since played a few games of it.
Yes.
So I thought I'd have a little chat with that. So
cool.
I won't go into the background of how I got into Warhammer. I've done a round rants about how I got into Warhammer, so I'm not going to go into that.
Sure.
So this is the 8th edition of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
The previous edition I played was 6th, so I've missed an edition because I sort of got out of it and got back into it again.
Mm.
And they have completely redone how the game works.
What rule set was out back in, as a guesstimate, 2000?
Third.
Well, that's the last rule set I played.
Yeah, that was the one with the front cover is like all the Space Marines sat on top of like a massive mound of surrounded by orcs, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the edition I started with.
Sure. That's the last one. That's the one I started
99,
on last
yeah.
Friday.
Yeah. That was good because that's the one that came with all the head. Because that was a big rechange of how the game worked, which is why the whole rulebook came with a mini codex for every race.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've done now is they've had to release what they call indexes, which has got every race. They're four indexes.
Mm-hmm.
You've got you've got one for the Imperium. So you've got 2 for the Imperium, because there's so many Imperium-based things, and 2 for the Xenos.
Mm-hmm.
And you've also got the Chaos and one of the Imperium ones as well. So you buy the index and match thing. They're like an abridged rule book.
Sure.
So massive change to the game works. I mean, they've simplified it dramatically.
Sure.
So in the old, I think in the edition I last played, I'll give you an example, the movement rules were about 1.5 pages to 2 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
It's now less than a page.
Okay, sure.
It's 8 pages. The entire base rules is 8 pages long.
Yeah, that's quite a cutback. So they've shrunk it down. They've summarised or simplified.
Simplified.
Completely simplified.
Dramatically
Okay,
simplified.
so when you said maybe they'd simplified, I didn't know if maybe it was just easier to digest rather than a
They
complete...
have got rid of lots of the more fiddly rules. So, and they've...
You mean the ones that used to start punch-ups over the table because...
Yeah, you'd have to put dice off to decide what to do.
Sure.
I used to have a dice off rather than have a punching match, but each to his own.
No, what we used to hear was Blitzkrieg, and then you'd see someone just swipe across the table.
No, it doesn't happen with us. What they actually... I'll give you the biggest change is how vehicles work. So in pre-edition of 40k, vehicles had armour stats.
Yep.
You'd have a front armour, side armour, rear armour. Okay, and depending on which way you shot them, you would hit different armours and so forth, and weapons would have to, you basically have to look at your weapon strength, roll the dice, add together. If you equaled it, you had a glancing hit. If you beat it, you had a piercing hit. And then you'd roll on a damage table. And the damage table would basically, on a piercing hit, you've got on a 4+, you basically, the vehicle's gone.
Sure.
And you could
effectively one-shotting.
Yeah, well, I did. I played against a friend. I played Tau, and I set my broadside, which my sort of heavy anti-vehicle unit, opposite, and he set a tank up on the hill opposite. And I first turn, rolled the dice, hit it, penetrate it, blew it up, gone. Straight away, didn't even get a chance to move. It was gone from the game in 3 dice rolls.
There you go.
Now, vehicles are just treated like any other units. They have a toughness value. They have wounds, so you knock off wounds. So what they have added is all your weapons now have a damage characteristic of how much damage they do.
Right.
Most weapons do 1. Some will do D3, some will do D6. Some do 2D6. Some do 2D3, weirdly.
Okay.
So you get a number between 2 and 6. So you can still take vehicles up quite quickly if you're lucky, but it's a lot harder.
Sure. Which makes more sense because, big fucking heavy armoured vehicle.
But I do kind of miss being town, just popping tanks off left, right, and centre. And I do miss that. So that makes more sense. The way the attacks work in the old days, you had a chart and you had to compare your weapon strength to the opponent's toughness, and you'd have an old chart you used to work it all out. Now it's a case of if your strength is equal to theirs, you you injure them on a 4+. If it's greater to them, it's a 3+. If it's less than, it's a 5+.
Sure.
Simple, straightforward rules.
It makes me wonder why perhaps they didn't do this sooner. I know there's a lot of purists out there, and there will be a lot of table flipping and screaming and shouting, but sometimes simplifying rules isn't a bad thing.
No.
I mean, especially if it means that a game's going to flow a damn so easy.
Because
I remember playing a lot of tabletop games back in the day, and you'd be sat there flicking through one book, rolling, grabbing another book, looking down another chart. I got this based on that, and then there'd be people, and then you'd argue with how that rule actually worked.
Playing 5th edition, which I played quite a lot of, there wouldn't be a game where at some point we wouldn't have to consult the rule book.
Sure.
At some point you would have to. You got pretty good at knowing most of them off the top of your head, but occasionally you say you can't do that. Yes, I can. Right, rule book time. Usually I'd be right. I just have a good memory of rules. I'm just really good at remembering rule book stuff, and I'm really good at remembering the wording as well.
Sure.
I am a bit of a rules lawyer in that regard. But I think Troy was the old ones got so bloated. Yes. Yeah. There were so many rules everywhere, so many complicated rules, and the way they interacted was they used to have they issue out like every sort of month an errata FAQ, which is questions people have asked and the answers, and they were getting ridiculous. Like sometimes about 10 pages long of FAQ questions like, okay, if so and so does this to so and so unit, what happens?
I was going to say, did you often find that maybe they'd get it wrong themselves? So one week someone would ask the question, and then someone would ask a similar question phrased differently, and they'd get a different answer.
Because it was issued on a monthly fee, they were amalgamated. So presumably because basically you can ring up, or I used to be able to, you could ring up their normal sales line and you could just ask a rules question and they'd answer it for you, which is neat. Sure. And so if you've got a rules dispute, you could ring up and ask the question.
Christ.
And I believe occasionally they'd pass you through to, I've heard, although I don't try it myself, occasionally if they didn't know, they'd pass you through to the game designer.
No, there you go. And if they don't know,
we're doomed.
Yeah, so it's like, well, there you go. That's where table flipping and blitzkrieg come in.
I never have rung them up because usually I've managed to work out rules we discuss. Usually, I'm lucky the people I play with are reasonable, and if you discuss it, And usually, what we used to do is if we would usually at one point there's like 5 of us doing it, we'd have one person as arbitrator. That's it. Who would basically have the final. We would agree that person would have final word on rule disputes.
Sure.
If we had one, which worked quite well. But by simplifying it, making it a lot more basic and simple, it means you can concentrate more on just picking the armies out and just having fun.
Yeah.
Some things I have, so I said there's some major changes. The major changes is the vehicles, the way, now, for example, if used to the old day, you didn't have ballistic skill, and if you want to know how well it's shot, you'd have to look up a chart, and the chart would be 1 to 10, so you look at ballistic skill. If your ballistic skill was 4, you'd hit on a 3+. If it's 5, you'd hit on a 2+. Now, your ballistic skill is 3+, 2+. They've completely eliminated that, because it was a pointless step. It was completely pointless, and we always said it was pointless. Same with weapon skill now. Weapon skill used to have you'd have to in the old days you have to compare a chart with your weapon skill against their weapon skill, and you'd then see where you were. Because the idea was someone with really good weapon skill, you'd hit not so well. Yeah, sure. Now it's just you hit on whatever you hit on.
Yeah.
If you hit on a 4+, you hit on a 4+. Doesn't matter. Obviously, you can get modifiers and so forth that modify the rules and so forth, which works quite well. So, straight down bare bones, it definitely plays a lot faster. It's a lot easier to pick up. It's going to be, I think part of it is simplified. It is A, it's bloated like hell.
Yeah.
And B, it means that getting new players into it now is a lot easier.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days, I've trained up new players, and you really have to start them small and basic and work them up quite gently.
And you often find that people tended to they'd be enthusiastic for the first match or two, and then things would start seeming a little bit too complicated for them, or too much of a time sink for them, and they'd find that they'd spend more time flicking through rule books than they would.
Yes, it's okay once you've got the rules down, you're okay, but once they sort of like picked a race, and basically, if you don't pick anything but space, if as a starting player, if you pick anything but Space Marines, you're in for a world of hurt. Space Marines are easy. They're designed to be an easy to follow army. They're designed to have an easy to follow rules. Everything's quite simplistic. They're designed to be a beginner's army. They can still be, if you're good with them, you can still have fun with them, but they are a very forgiving army. And some people, space players, often get a little pissed off when you say that, but it's true. In Games Workshop admitted that it's a beginner's army. That's the whole point of them.
I'll be fair, the first and pretty much only army I ever played in Warhammer 40k was Space Marines.
My first army was Space Marines. I had about 2,000 points of Space Marines when I sort of over time built up before I switched to Tau. I switched to Tau because none of the other races really appealed to me. I also did Space Marines today because they were the units that came in the box. When you bought the box set, it came with Space Marines and Dark Elder. And so of course I built Space Marines. Pain in the shit. I literally used 3 colours: blue, silver and green. That was it. So then once I saw Tau, I fell in love and bought Tau. I will say, because Tau took a massive points hike now. So Tau, literally, so to balance your armies out, you have points, and each model has a points value. This is weird. They've made that more complicated. They've managed to make it really unintuitive. So, in the old days, you'd have a book and it'd say, okay, this unit costs X many points, and then you'd read the description. It said it consists of 10 models, one of which is a sergeant, and so forth. You can add 5 additional models at this many points per model. Sure. You can have the 5 weapons at this many points per weapon and so forth, and you can have a maximum of 2 and so forth. It was all in one entry, it's nice and easy to work through. Now, what you have to do is it just tells you this is what the unit consists of. You have to go to the back of the book, look up the unit, look how many points it is, but that doesn't include weapons or war gear. So you have to go, what are they equipped with? Okay, they've got bolt guns, close combat weapons, frag grenades and craft grenades. Okay, how much each of these cost? Okay, bolt guns are free, these are free, or they're all free in those cases. Or I've got storm bolters, they're 2 points each. Okay, so now I've got 10 models, 2 points, that's 20 points. So now this model is, and they've made that more complicated. So you look at when I first I thought, one of the big tower units, a Riptide battlesuit. Well, what are those? Oh, they've had a price decrease. That was just for the battlesuit, it wasn't for the weapons.
Yeah, sure.
And now it's a price increase. We had it all in. That's very counterintuitive and seems to be completely against the whole adding up. I don't know what was wrong with this is the unit, this is how many points it costs. And if you want to upgrade weapons, how much it costs you to do it. That seemed to me a lot more sensible.
Sure.
I sort of know why they've done it that way. Because now when you buy a unit off the shelf, you get its data card with it.
Right.
Which tells you what's got on it. Well, if they have the points value on there, potentially you would need the codex. So, but then I'm sure they could have eliminated that on the, just not put the points values on there. So it's a bit of a funny way they've done it that way. I'm not too keen on that. But my Tau, to be honest, I've had a massive price hike, points hike. So I went through when the last sort of Tau battle I played before I sort of dropped out. I had a 1,500 point army I took. I went through it, recalculated it. It came just shy of 1,900 points. It's got it cost me nearly a third more in points. I went, ow! One of my main units one of my main models, which used to be 80 points all in, is now double that just for the model, not for its weapons. That was painful. It was painful going through that.
I'm gonna throw out there, it's all of the extra fluff in Warhammer. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, if that was your cup of tea, that made me go Blood Bowl, and I preferred Blood Bowl because Blood Bowl back then is basically, as you say, Warhammer now. It was really quick to pick up.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, there wasn't really a lot that you could argue about. You just got in, you set up, and you played.
Yeah.
Simple.
Simple rules.
Yeah.
Straightforward rules.
Well, relatively simple. You can still have you can still have punch-ups at the end of it.
Yeah, but probably a lot simpler than the main game. Because the big issue of the main game is each army will have its own set of rules tied to it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's when they interact with each other that they used to have problems.
Blood Bowl literally being fantasy football. If you had Orcs versus Skaven, there wouldn't be anything that I could do to negate the abilities of the Skaven. They would still be affected by the same, the random same rules that I had to use, like, you know, tackle zones and stuff like that. Just that Skaven would have, say, gutter runners, and gutter runners can run twice as far as any fucker else on the goddamn playing field. So you better make sure you could stop them or block them with, you know, combining tackle zones. Nothing else you can really do about it. Or, I don't know, you've got a star player for the Orcs that's a cyborg. Roll anything over on 1, he's got a fucking chainsaw. He's now started that chainsaw. If you run into him or he runs into you, you're instantly over.
I think it'd be more than over, personally. But...
Yeah. Well, no, because that was just an initial, attack. That wasn't actually going in for the kill. Because then you'd have to roll, but then there'd be a multiplier applied to that. So, you know, there wasn't really that much you could really argue about, and there wasn't really anything to say, like, you know, as you were saying earlier, different armies, different rules, different effects. Then you'd have to, like, if you were playing someone who had never played against your army before, you'd then have to explain different effects that you had versus none of that in Blood Bowl.
Yeah. I also think sometimes when you explain some of the rules you got, because some of the rules are quite outlandish, I think when you used to explain it to people, they look at you like you were making it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, this weapon does this, and they look at you and go, and you get the feeling that they think you're lying.
Especially if they've never played against your you know, your
and
race.
If they're new
before.
As well,
yeah,
and they're used to knowing that hasn't got much. I mean, space races have got a lot of special rules, but in general, compared to some other races, they haven't quite got the outlandish rules. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Orcs especially have got insane rules. I mean,
that's my Blood Bowl team, by the way. Orcs.
Yeah, Orcs. Yeah. I used to like play. I played Orcs in Warhammer Fantasy, and I nearly started an Orc army for 40k because I was feeling my second army. I nearly started on 40k, but Orcs are a horde army. Means you learn lots of models, and they were going to get very expensive. Yeah, I mean, I've got now. I'm not just shy of 6,000 points of Tau. That's a lot. That takes up the entire table when I lay them out. And I mainly got through some good eBay deals. I literally sold their entire army on eBay, and I got for £100, and that was about 2,500 points worth of gear there. So instantly, actually doubled what I had.
For like £100, that was barely a couple Razorbacks back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's still an expensive hobby. And one person in the comments has mentioned that Warhammer is mainly a miniatures company now, and that's true. They are basically a miniatures company. I will say the 40k. I do think the 40k, having now played a few games, this version of 40k is one of the best ones they produced.
Yep.
Because it's just very simple. It just makes it so fun to play now.
With the exception of tallying up points for units, is that the only bad thing you can say about it?
That is a bad thing for Tau. I don't know how it's affected the other races.
Sure.
Obviously,
you just think it's counterintuitive to the changes all out for the
I know why I've done it, because some of the weapons that the Tau now have are now in some ways a lot more deadly than what they used to be. So it's obviously balance reasons, but I think that because they've had to readjust every race really quickly, you know, they've had to redo, I think there's 14 races in time for the release. That's a lot to do very quickly, so I've wondered if that's when we actually get our proper codex, whether things will change.
Sure.
I know the Space Marines one is the book you get with you get basically the book for Space Marines and the thing, which is about a mini version, which only got the units you've got on the table. And the points value in that don't match the proper codex, so they've obviously adjusted a few things since the codex got released. Codex came afterwards, which is the proper release. Things have adjusted obviously slightly, so they are obviously going to rebalance it, and I think they will rebalance Tau. But now you'll see people basically swearing Tau broken, and you need to basically play a certain force type on there and so forth. Although I think that's more because the site I was reading, they all say, oh yeah, this is what you should have, just commanders and drones. That's all you should have, commanders and drones, and you'll blitz for everything. That's not fun to me. I'd rather pick an army that's a bit of a mixture of things, and it's less competitive because it feels more in keeping with the fluff, and I'll have more fun with it.
Yeah,
I'll pick this. And I've been on a few other places and sites, and there's a brilliant site for Tau called Advanced Tau Tactica, and it's really good site, and it's a forum that's got lots of people who've written big, massive articles on all the unit types and how you should play them, all the things you can do with them and so forth. There's a lot of discussion, and they seem to be using a mixture of units, so I just get a feeling that one site's basically a few people have had the idea of what you do, and they've just sort of like browbeat everybody else that's doing it.
You don't really want to limit yourself because, as you
No.
say, that's going to get really boring really fast.
Yeah.
And why, if you're investing time and money into this game, the last thing you want to do is suck out half of the fun.
Yeah. And if you're going to a tournament, then yes, you probably want to bring an ultra competitive army because you're at that point you're trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
But playing against mates, just pick an army that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Put units in there that even if they aren't like the best unit you can put on your table, then not the optimum configuration.
You pick the ones you
If
like,
it
not
yeah,
the
if it
ones
looks
that are
cool,
best.
it's fun. Do it.
That's it.
You know, just have some fun with it.
Yeah.
There's usually they're like sniper drones. Say, "Oh, don't bother taking them." Then people say, "Well, take them, but if you mix them up." In the case of Tower, they're a synergy army. You know, you need to mix and match them. So some of can be very deadly if you synergize them properly. Because Space Marines are forgiving. Yeah, Space Marines, all the units are pretty much the same. With a few variations, they'll forgive. You don't have to synergize too much, but Tower you have to synergize. So that's Warhammer 40k.
Yeah. Good rewrite.
Good. So
Didn't they say the Blood Bowl?
Oh
You
yeah,
said the other week the
fancy.
Blood Bowl's re-released.
Yeah, I might pick that up. I was going to pick that up for you.
Cool.
I thought I'll invite you around for a game.
Marvellous. I haven't played in years.
We're going to mention about Warhammer Fantasy. Basically Warhammer Fantasy, they've rebooted that completely, and there are a lot of not very happy people.
Oh.
They have. It's complete. They've pretty much redone all the lore, all the backgrounds. It's virtually completely changed the entire the way the whole game works. It's completely changed. It's to the point where even I look to think that's just not Warhammer anymore. They've literally,
It's tad sad.
yeah. It's called Age of Sigmar, and it's sort of like set like after basically the Warhammer world comes to an end, an apocalyptic end, and this is like what come after.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but all the races have been renamed.
Do you think in that case people are just going to play the old versions and then...
I think people play the old version. All the armies and stuff are still there. They've just all been renamed now, and they've been redone. So Empire's not called Empire anymore. I can't remember what they're called now, but yeah, it's very sad what they've done to Warhammer Fantasy. But I feel a lot of people worried about 40k, but they've just been sensible. 40K.
They did that one right.
They've done that one very right.
Do you think they could anything to do with sales numbers?
Oh yeah,
like 40k.
40k. 40k outsells Warhammer by quite a lot.
Sure.
I think which is weird because I used to prefer Warhammer Fantasy over 40k.
Will admit I've never played Fantasy.
Fantasy.
I had some. Did I have? No, I didn't. I don't think I had any.
Fantasy was a lot more. You had to be a lot more tactical fantasy. So your units marched as regiments, and they'd have a forward facing, and they'd have flanks, and they'd have a rear. So you could do like flank charges, and that'd be a big thing. So a flank, you used to get a leadership bonus for every rank you had. So if your leadership was like 8 and you had 2 ranks, it would go up to like 10, or 3 ranks. You have 1 for extra rank, so your front rank then. That got to say 10, but if you've got charge on the side, you lost that bonus. So when it comes to close combat, that could make a big difference with leadership. If you play like I did, which was Skaven, who are leadership 5, and you have to do a leadership test on 2d6, and you have to roll below that number on 2d6, ranks are very important to you. You need them, so you have to really guard your flanks. So yeah, they made a lot. Fantasy was definitely a lot more. Warhammer 40k was always more fast paced. But nowhere near as tactical as Fantasy. Fantasy was a lot more tactical. Hi, Charlie. But I think that just basically a lot of people just. I think people in general much prefer big shooting. Because Fantasy there wasn't a lot of shooting in Fantasy. You had
right.
but you got the things like sort of traditional, sort of like medieval style.
For a tabletop, it wasn't as action packed.
No, definitely not. It still functioned magic in Fantasy. Then they introduced psykers into Warhammer 40k, and they had a proper psychic phase. And it's just like, oh, that's just a little bit. Royal 40k is definitely the more bang bang poo poo shooty version of Fantasy is a little bit more tactical. Which actually, I must be overall, I probably preferred Fantasy, but as far as I knew, everybody plays 40k.
Sure.
I think that's part of the reason they rebooted Fantasy so hard was because everybody was basically it was dying off. They've got rid of a lot of their old game series. They used to do. Let's see, Battlefleet Gothic, which was their spaceship game. They got rid of that. You had Epic 40k, which was 40k, but the scale, whereas at the moment model's about 30 mil high. These were 10 mil high, so you had massive battles. But having said that, it played very similar to 40k. Just that, oh no, I've got a little. I use whole units at a time. There's one called War Master, which is a very interesting version. That was the fancy version of Epic 40k. That was from what I never played it, but I read through the rules. That was quite fun because you could basically have to do like command rolls, and potentially you could move like your regiments further.
Sure.
You had Blood Bowl.
Love Blood Bowl.
Mordheim, which was their skirmish one.
Bard played that one, didn't he?
Yeah. Necromunda, which was the 40k version of basically Mordheim. Right. Inquisitor, that was a good one. That was a bigger scale.
Bard played that one as well, didn't he?
If he did, I don't remember him saying it.
Okay.
Perhaps he did, but I don't remember him saying it to me. Inquisitor used bigger models. I used 54mm models, so they're bigger scale, and that played more like it was meant to play more like an RPG, like a role-playing game. So you meant to have a game master. You had to 3PO a game master, and everything. And that was the only, as far as I'm aware, was the only Warhammer game that was based on D10 rather than D6. Everything was like percentage based, so you rolled 2 D10s, and it was a percentage based system, and all is a lot more in depth. So, and it was designed to be more cinematic.
Right.
So you could say, I want to shoot the barrel next to the guy, and then the game master could say, Wildcat barrels full of flaming liquid and do stuff like that. And it's a lot more cinematic. But nearly all of those are gone. Basically, all you've now got is I completely forgot about the Hobbit battle game. That was really good fun. Actually, the Hobbit game was actually really well done.
Never played.
That was really good fun. I had all the box sets for that because they launched a box set for every film that kept. Not Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings battle game. They launched a box set for every film that came out. That basically expanded the previous one. That was really good fun. But I think that's still going. But yeah, other than that, now we've got is basically Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar is now 40k and the Lord of the Rings battle game. That's all you've got now. Everything else has been pretty much discontinued. Well, they have now re-released Blood Bowl, which is interesting. So, pick that up.
That was Blood Bowl and the Death Bowl expansion, was it not? Was it Death Bowl? I don't remember what it was called now. There was an expansion. I had the original Blood Bowl and the expansion.
I don't know a lot about Blood Bowl because Blood Bowl was gone by the time I started playing Blood Bowl quite early on, and that was pretty much gone by the time I got properly into Warhammer.
Oh, okay, cool. I was playing Blood Bowl back in high school.
Yeah.
So no. I actually got that kind of, I guess, on the tail end of it because by the only place in town that sold Blood Bowl ended up getting robbed and went out of business.
Oh no!
So after that point, there was nowhere I could get Blood Bowl stuff in this town. Blood Bowl wasn't exactly cheap anyway.
There's only one place in our town that sells Warhammer.
Right.
It's a shop called Anatar up near. Bill's.
Oh right, yeah, the head shop.
Yeah, I try to ignore that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in there the other day, it's sort of like, I go there for the Warhammer stuff, and there's 2 people in front of me buying bongs.
Yeah. It's weird that they're stocking it, but then again, they
do lots of sort of, shall we say, new agey stuff there, and it's a bit of a weird thing.
A lot of alternative crowd stuff, and a lot of folks that are into that kind of stuff do actually play a lot of stuff like Warhammer, D&D, play different trading card games.
They do quite well there. I think the War does quite well there for them, and they do 20% off all the models as well,
which is neat.
Yeah, no, it's good. I go there generally because I like supporting a local business.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's nice to be able to just go and get the models and go straight home and build them. That's quite nice. We've just had a comment. Someone says, I enjoy the tactical aspect of Warhammer, but there's nothing quite like in dropping a high time of 40k near my opponent making my opponent go, oh dear. I've had those moments. Technically, Space Marine's got drop pods in 5th edition, and they literally can just drop pod in front of your entire army. My army is designed to be a shooty army, not a close combat army. That was just like, I might as well just quit the game now. Moment.
Oh dear.
Although when I took my friend on, I basically used to use marker lights. I basically have laser sights, and they can mark light up an enemy unit, and you could spend the marker lights to do things. And one of the things you could do was remove cover, save, so you could drop save, and you could do like knock one off for each cover save, increase your shooting ability. So I had a friend who had a tank, and he literally popped smoke to put it into cover. and I just marked them up, and I literally, all my models, I said, right, I'm going to eliminate that cover save immediately. And, oh, by the way, this unit that gets to re-roll failed to hits, that's now going to hit on a 2+, and if it misses, it gets to re-roll it.
And that's one of those points where then I imagine your friend going, right, I want to see the rule book.
Yeah, he did. I want to see the rule book. I said, there you go. That's how they work.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it up close, read it over many a times, and then bam, you're out.
Yeah, those moments were fun. But then you play against an army, it's like, okay, that's my army gone now. He's got to my front lines. I'm dead now. Yeah. Right. So moving on to other news. We better keep this brief because we've probably been going on now for over 2 hours.
God damn.
So we better...
for such a brief... in fairness, most of that is me bumbling on trying to explain a Dynasty Warriors game that isn't a Dynasty Warriors game, but hey ho.
Well, let's not go back over it again.
Yeah.
So just a couple bits of news. First bit of news you picked up was your favourite company, IGN.
Rest in peace, Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
IGN has it already gone through, or is it something happening in the future?
I've seen it as they have.
I assumed it's already a thing.
Yeah.
IGN have bought out Humble Bundle.
Which is a weird thing, because I thought Humble Bundle was like a charity organisation that wasn't necessarily set up to be bought out.
That's kind of what I thought too. Like, oh hey, look, you get all these games on the cheap. You give a percentage to a selectable percentage to charity of choice.
Yeah.
Selectable percentage, usually a damn sight less than what you give to the charity to the developer, and then a percentage to Humble Bundle.
To be administrators and so forth and maintain everything.
Now, IGN have started to dip their fingers in, and I swear I was sent a screenshot over, I think it might have even been last night, and it said, in so many words, give money to IGN. I was like, why would I do that? I want you to go out of business. So, Humble monthly subscription, gone. And I know a lot of people have said, no, we're not going to carry that one on, and Humble Bundle is basically effectively dead to us. They said, hey, could you imagine in a couple of weeks' time, fucking the DRM free copies are just going to disappear completely off the site. But no, Humble Bundle officially dead as of
days ago.
Like yesterday or a couple of days ago.
I saw it on the news. I saw it on the thing. I think about this morning. I think I saw it. But I don't go on IGN very often to all the news they often see that sort of thing.
So the question is, we already know I won't be paying for it. I won't be paying Humble Monthly anymore. I will probably not be going to Humble Bundle anymore. Well, in fairness, the last couple of bundles have been absolutely dog shit. So will you be still paying for Humble Monthly?
I'm in two minds because mine does go to a charity. And as long as you can still select how much goes to the charity, then if I say all of it goes to the charity, then I didn't get a penny then at that point. And there's all in the case of the moment, there's always been something I've got out of it that's, to my mind, has made it worth it. So I'm in two minds about it at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is probably just see what happens and maybe change my mind a little while down the line, see what happens, see what I think, and go. I'm not one to just go, oh, I'm just not going to touch it anymore. I'm not sort of, I like to see, I'll see what happens. If it goes bad, then I'll go, do you know what, I'll move away from it.
Looking at the next Humble Monthly, Elder Scrolls Online, that's definitely me out.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to pay me to take that game. I'm not giving them £12 of my money to have a game that I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
And as I said, the last few bundles have been absolutely crap. The book bundles have been absolutely crap, and the monthlies have not been great for me. So for me, it hasn't been worth it for quite a while. Yeah. And now that they've partnered up with IGN, it just kind of gives me a reason to cut loose.
Yeah.
If there were more games on that list that I actually wanted, I mean, even their sales recently, I've been like, I'm not going to buy those. The deals on Steam are usually better.
Yeah.
Or go to Bundle Stars and get a slightly better deal a couple of days after Humble Bundle and Steam are finished.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to sort of see what happens. I'm sort of going to play it, but I may. I sort of was like, oh, hi Jen, bought it. So I'm just going to see and go from there.
Can I also just throw out there in my defence, it's not often I play games.
No.
I've been buying these games monthly now for, well, quite a while. About the same time as you. How long was that?
I think I said to you about it, and that's when you joined up.
Yeah. I don't think I've played many, if any, of the games from the Humble Monthly.
I've played. I would say of all the every month I played like 2 or 3 of them, and the cost of those games is more than what the bundles cost me. So in that respect, I've got money's worth.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, some of the games, 2 of the games I've done Let's Plays on are games that I got in the bundle, and I said I wouldn't have bought. I might not have bought them if I thought they were in the bundle. And I've played games I would probably never bought. So in that I've liked it because it's made me. It's when it comes to me spending money, I'm very much. Oh no, I'm not going to. Something I'm very much. Surprisingly enough, I can be quite bad. Like, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to buy that. I'm not going to buy that. And a lot of games like, game's $5.99, but I'm ever going to probably enjoy it. Probably not. I won't purchase it because it's come in the bundle. I've picked it up and I've played it. I've enjoyed it. Off-Road Trading Company, I would never have bought that game, but because it came in the bundle, I got it. I played it and enjoyed it. So. Yeah, no, it's expanded my gaming horizons. Yeah, for sure. A little bit. So,
and whilst I would agree with you, I don't find Humble Bundle has done that for me. I find that gaming on Linux has done that for me, and gaming on Nintendo Switch has done that for me.
Yeah.
Because in the case of Linux, I haven't had access to as many games as I normally would have.
So you've had to expand.
Yeah, so it's been like, oh hey, that game's available on Linux. Not really something I normally play. Pick it up. Oh, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah.
Or same with the Switch. We bought Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Whilst I love the Dragon Ball series, I haven't played a Dragon Ball game since the PlayStation 1 days. Picked this one up and was like, oh, actually, this is pretty fun. Well, it was a £50 drop right on the spot for a game that I may not have liked, but it turns out it was actually really, really, really good.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
But Humble Bundle, I don't know. I'll probably, what I would like to see, cancel, see how they handle everyone running off. You know, what they're going to do as the ship is sinking, and depending on how it goes from that point on.
If they leave it as it is, let it carry on doing what it's doing, so that they now own it, then fine. You know, no problem at all. But if they start, patch changing. Perhaps going with the fact that you can donate everything to the charity, that would be a bit of thing. I mean, in some ways, it could potentially mean they can give more to charities because obviously they've now got a massive company backing it up, whereas Humble Bundle had to pay for itself. Now they've got a massive company backing up everything. Potentially, perhaps I'm being too generous here. They might go, well, we'll cover the overheads. Then you don't need to worry about that anymore. We'll cover that. You just let more money go to charity. We'll see.
It does kind of worry me though as well that. Could it now get to the point now that they're not? It's not them themselves running the business. Before, it was kind of a lot more free, whereas now corporations have started dipping their fingers in. Who's to say you're not really making us any money? Albeit you are kind of you are there for the sake of charity, gaming for the sake of charities.
Yeah.
You're not making enough money.
Yeah.
And then off it goes.
I suppose it depends how they see it. If they see it as a money-making exercise, then they probably...
Well, I don't think IGN are doing it for the fucking sake of their health.
No.
Or for goodwill, either, to be fair. IGN of all people.
Yeah. We'll see. I think it's going to be watch and see what happens.
Sure.
So the other little bit of news is... basically, I've come up today because I've been a bit out of the loop on this because the sort of games it affected I don't really play very much of. Because mainly multiplayer.
Okay.
But the headline was about the ESRB, which is the European Standards of basically their games body that rates games. PEGI.
Is it the ESRB, PEGI, and what's the UKSI or something? UK. There's a UK equivalent. Sure.
They don't actually rate games, but they are still involved in that industry. And they've basically PEGI is the sort of like pan-European game.
Yeah, PEGI, SRB, and
ESRB do the actual ratings. PEGI are the ones who go around and say, okay, this game's got this in it, this game's got that in it. This game contains violence, this contains strong language, this game contains racial, that sort of thing. They put that on it, but they're not actually like a ratings guide. Whereas ESRB says, well, this is a 15 rated game, this is an 18 rated game. And the individual countries also implement it how they do. Because we usually use, I think most of the games in the UK came under BBFC, but I don't think that exists anymore. I'm sure games used to come under BBFC, British Board of Film Classification. I think they used to.
Not sure off the top of the
So anyway, the news article was they've followed a ruling that the American version of the rating system, which I can't remember what it's called, have said that loot crates or loot boxes are not considered gambling. Because there are some people, so you know what a loot box is.
Yeah.
You buy a loot box and you get 4 random things out of it. There are some people who are apparently trying to complain and trying to restrict games using them by claiming they're a form of gambling, because obviously gambling is very heavily regulated in America. And the argument was, if they got a game rated as gambling, it'd ultimately achieve a mature 18 plus certificate.
Yeah.
Which in America is a big thing, because in America it means you then can't be sold in things like, a lot of the places won't stock them.
Yeah.
Places like Walmart will not stock an 18 rated plus game. Because basically the only things that fall under plus are things like pornographic films. Most games sit at 17. They're just below it. And I think the idea was if they get classed as gambling, then people would then ultimately get this high, which means that games would have to take it out, because otherwise it won't go into any shops. What they have said in America is they've decided that they don't consider it gambling because, in their mind, for gambling you have to have the risk of losing something. With a loot crate, you always get something. It may not be quite what you wanted, there's a random chance, but you always get something.
But it's always going to poke that kind of addictive part of your brain, whereby you're not, if you don't get what you want, you're not going to stop dropping money for something you don't really need.
But if it's a case of you open a loot crate and nothing's in it, that'd then be falling definitely onto the realms of gambling. So a lottery, you don't always win something in a lottery. Generally, you lose. Most casino games, generally, you lose. You may win occasionally, you may have a running streak, but generally, you lose. That's why it's gambling. Whereas this argument is, no, actually, we've decided because you're guaranteed to get something.
Have they said at what point or what age limit? What is the minimum age bracket for games with loot boxes in?
Well, they've basically said they're happy with how it is. They're happy with how the system is at the moment. So basically, there's no.
So what you're saying is we could put loot boxes in for a game designed for a 5-year-old.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, in a fair way, how many mobile games have microtransactions in it, which do exactly that?
Fucking all of them.
Exactly,
and it's disgusting.
Yeah,
which targeted marketing for children.
Yeah, and basically does exactly that. So, with all the sort of European ones following suit, saying actually, yeah, we agree with that logic, we agree with that following. It's sort of what the sort of debate to hold, because loot crates were first. I think the first people that actually did it properly was actually surprisingly Valve. They put them in tier 2. But from what I understand, everything you got on those was cosmetic only.
Yeah.
And I think most people, I don't think a lot of people necessarily disagree or have a massive argument against if it's cosmetic stuff. So it doesn't affect the gameplay. But now there are games out there which I think it's Battlefront where you're going to actually potentially get better weapons and stuff out of them.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem. No, so
it's EA, so it doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And I was just taught they're now going to end up in some single player games are going to have loot crates in them, which doesn't make sense.
Single.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense at all. So I sort of thought it was interesting, the reasoning behind it. I think loot crates are. Ooh, careful.
I know, I'm not really sad, Charles. I'm not. You think it's retarded too, don't you, mate?
I hate loot crates.
Do you not like
think
loot
they're
crates?
Awful.
I know.
I paid for one, so I didn't even get a dog biscuit out of it.
I know. How horrible is that?
I got a cat biscuit. I want the cat biscuit, I want the dog biscuit.
So I had to go
but
buy
it's a
another
rare
one.
drop.
Crazy dog.
Got a bonio instead.
What you wanted was a pork chop.
Yeah, that's a rare drop. Yeah, so that's what I thought thoughts on loot crates. Well, I can guess what your thoughts are. You're probably the same thoughts as me. Is I think they are bad.
They're ridiculous. They have no place in modern gaming.
Yeah.
They just don't. Loot crates. I personally consider it as close to gambling as you can get, and it's manipulative and disgusting.
Yeah.
Knowing full well that there are going to be people out there who cannot resist putting down that extra cash to buy the extra thing for the chance to get something that they don't need. There will be people out there who will bankrupt themselves to get the random hats or the random gun skin or whatever. We did have all of that joke about was it the CS:GO gun skin lottery sites back in the day where people were basically gambling on skins. Whilst it may sound stupid to spend money on a skin or something like that, and whilst I have put some money in, I don't know, like some collector's editions will come with a rare skin or whatever. The idea that this isn't a bad thing, people don't have to, they won't, they'll have more control or whatever. All these mobile games marketed to children with microtransactions in them. Well, the parents should be paying attention to what the kids are doing. True, for all these crazy children that are like fucking £50, £50 on microtransactions for coins or whatever in-game currencies. Sure, the parents should be paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
However, the companies shouldn't be designing games focused around these items. They know that people are going to want them. They know it's an easy way to make money. Just don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got no massive objections to things that give cosmetics. Stuff that doesn't affect the game, particularly affect other people. It's when stuff starts coming out of them that gives somebody an advantage, mainly because they've just simply paid extra money for it. When you're going to pay to win territory. Yeah. That's when I object to them, because to me that's not on, because then it basically say, okay, you paid £40 for this game. But that guy over there paid £50. He paid £40, and he spent £10 on Lucas and got the random drop.
Yeah,
he's not going to beat you because he spent more money on it. You should have spent more money on it.
Yeah,
that's when I dislike it. I'm not so worried. But you are right. There's got to be some protection against addictive personalities. Maybe a limit to how many you can buy. Maybe a limit to what you can on the game. Stuff like that, I think you need to think about. But I'm in sort of too much. But once they start getting into single player games, that's a problem for me.
Yeah, no need for it. There's no place for them in single player games.
Yeah, that's just taking.
What annoys me is, why can't they just say, right? Why don't they just do what Destiny did? If we're going to go that kind of route, even for just cosmetics, here's the shop. Here's the list of things. Pick one.
Yeah. Just
let people buy what they want if they want it.
Because does Destiny have a loot crate system?
I don't think it has a crate system, but it does have a shop where you can go and buy engrams. Is it engrams? I can't remember what they call it. It's been so long since I played Destiny, but you can buy different armor colours, different emotes, and things like that, and you can buy those with real money. But you just see it, and there is a price, and you pay it. One other thing I have a gripe with is when we start masking things' value, whatever this thing is, that's what a thing's values, with points or random number. So this is however many
Xbox points.
Yeah, rather than this is how much it actually costs. That, in my opinion, should be fucking illegal.
Particularly as you can never buy the right amount of points to buy it. So they always cost things like, this costs you 2,600 points. Minimum amount of points you can buy is 5,000.
Yep.
So I can't buy two of them. I can only buy one, and then I'm short 100 points. That's just a dick move, because it's hiding how much it's actually costing you.
Yep.
it's forcing you to. I mean, whatever those systems work, you always inevitably will end up with more points left over, which you've spent money on, but you can't use.
See, I had that a while ago with Final Fantasy 14. I can't remember what their currency is, but basically you pay real money to get their MISC shop currency, which you can then use to pay for game subscription time.
Yeah.
So if you want to play Final Fantasy 14, you have to have a subscription. But the method that I like to pay with was not actually a subscription a method that you could use to pay for a subscription, but you could use it to pay for these points. Yeah. So to get the subscription length that I wanted, I'd then find myself paying over the odds for these points than I would have done if I'd just paid outright for the subscription.
Yeah.
Just to have enough points to pay for the thing and then have like 500 left over or whatever.
Yeah. No, points system are the scourge, and there's no way you can justify that to me.
Nope.
Okay, you perhaps you can justify if it's something you can earn in game. You can semi-justify it then, but then don't let people buy odd amounts that they can't use. Just do what. I mean, Microsoft tried to claim that Xbox points, the reason they used them was because they were easier. What's easier than I go on Steam? Oh, it's 79p for that. Okay, I'll buy it. How's that hard?
They started that out, actually. They started their point system out with their MP3 store, the Zune Music Store. I don't think it was on the Xbox as yet. But if you wanted to buy a song on the Zune Music Store, you had to pay for it in points, not in actual currency.
Yeah.
Like real world money. You had to pay for it with their fancy magic Monopoly money or whatever it was. So you thought you were getting a good deal because the number of points was lower than, say, let's say it's 50 points on the Zune store, but it's 79p on the iTunes store. So you're like, I'm getting a better deal on the Zune store. Yet you actually have to pay more than 79p to get the 50 points.
Yeah.
For the cheap practices, bad marketing tactics, don't do it.
Yeah. No, it just pisses people off.
It's not even a case of just pissing people off. I just think it's taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
It needs to stop.
Yeah. It is, yeah. It is one of the things that I think it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse and it's going to crash.
Hopefully. The trouble is, though, I see too many people these days can't talk with their wallets.
Yeah.
So many people are so worried about missing out that they will buy into bad trends just to be part of the crowd.
Yeah. But I think it will crash. At some point, people will just go, no. I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. But,
You think it's going to get to the point where they are literally trying to suck out your blood before people realise this is a bad thing?
Yeah. I reckon subscription-based single-player game.
Ooh. Yeah.
Stuff like that's going to happen. And, I mean, well, Adobe managed it with Premiere Pro.
Don't. Adobe, my God. I stuck with CS6, and then as soon as they wound me up with that, I went for Linux and free software. It is largely Adobe's fault that I moved over to Linux.
There you go.
That is it. So there you go. I've said it on a podcast. It has now been recorded.
I hope you're happy with yourself, Adobe. I hope you're happy with yourself.
See, that's the thing for me. If something doesn't fit my workflow or it doesn't do things in the way that I want, I'll just bin it.
Good.
That's the same thing with Humble Bundle. Same with loot boxes and loot crates. If I don't see any benefit in it, I'll just kill it with fire. Adobe, Microsoft, Apple, and then if Linux down the road starts doing the same thing, get rid of that too. I'll get a BSD or Commodore Basic. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. I'll be using OS2.
OS2, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, OS2. I'm going to start using Amiga OS. Why not?
Next step.
One of the cool black computers that is rare.
Unix operating system.
They go back all the way.
Forget about Linux, go back to Unix.
Let's go back to Unix. Yeah, let's do that. Go get one of them big old, one of them big Sun fucking supercomputers, like their servers they had back in the day. I have to sit there with a terminal to access my little reel-to-reel tape machine. Punch cards. Next time you'll come through and we're doing the podcast through punch cards.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Before we stream RAM, I need to just put through. I've got the punch card in the program.
And so it turns out we've got like a big rack of punch cards.
25,000. We need to put them in the right order.
Wait, shit, did we put... Which one did we just put in? No, I've just lost the place.
Yeah.
Start again.
Do you know that's the punch cards where the term patch comes from? Because if they had faulty code on a punch card, rather than... Because also these come like big... Like... You'd have more like stuck together, so they would pull off the machine. If they'd made a mistake and they need to change a couple of the punch card codes, they'd give you a bit of tape to stick over the holes.
Same with them. Same with splicing in film.
Yeah, that's where the term patch comes from.
Good old punch cards.
Yeah. I always want to have to go programmers with punch cards to see.
That'd be neat to play with, wouldn't it? Just for a laugh one day.
We programmed in Fortran.
Fortran, Pascal, and...
Fortran, Pascal, and Java when we got to university. Yeah.
I hate
Everybody hates Java.
Java.
I'm now part of a programming subreddit, and everybody on there hates Java and JavaScript. They all hate it.
Good. Why are they teaching that so much these days? I get it, it's a very popular language for people to learn, but please let it die. Can we move on?
Suppose it's an easy to learn language, but I'd argue C# is an easy to learn. And I suppose the one Java has got is completely free, whereas C# is proprietary. So, Java 1's on pretty much one on anything. It's
Java.
Yeah, it is Java.
Look, what other arguments do I need? It's Java. I hate Java. Yeah. Do you actually have a proper argument for this? It's Java.
Java spawned JavaScript. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's it. Look at where we are now.
There. It's alright. Java doesn't really exist. It's all made up. It's alright. I'm sure your TV doesn't run on Java. That's the scary thing. You do know that there's going to be several things in this house that probably run on Java. Usually things that are probably broken.
Yeah.
But again, there'll be selfies as well.
I had on one of my other browsers. I have no script running, so Java, JavaScript, none of it. Tried to load up Twitch TV earlier today. Nope. YouTube. I'm gonna say, oh yeah. What about the?
Oh,
hello. What about this random forum? No.
I'm surprised because I thought YouTube switched to HTML5 for its video stuff.
Yeah, the comment section though.
That's still in Java?
Yeah, I think the comments are still in Java.
Nicely done, Google.
Well then, what are the other things that annoy me?
Keep licking my legs.
Because reasons. The other thing that annoys me with YouTube is that even if you're not signed in, you have to kind of click that agreement thing. Have you seen that thing like how Google will track you or whatever?
Yeah.
Or you have to give us permission to do X, Y, Z, and you can go through and select varying levels. Fuck, that gets on my nerves. If you go to YouTube and you're not signed in, you still have to click through that agreement. It's like, will you not just fuck off? Just let me view the fucking videos. No, Google company, you have to agree to our terms of service before you even sign up. It's like, fuck you. With another reason why I'm trying to move away from Google. I just, if you don't do things my way, and I get you're a big company and you're providing a free service, fuck off. I don't have to bend to your will. You need me to make your service profitable. I don't need your service to exist.
Well, there you go.
That's it. Am I the only one that thinks like that these days?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like
that is pretty much why the world is going the way it's going.
You said to me, we've got to get rid. We're going to have to try and find better ways to the notes because I'm not going to use Google anymore. I thought, just use bloody Google. It works.
I don't care if it works.
It's like, oh god, now I've got to go to some weird, probably some weird PHP-based random website he's found from
suicide cults help colours of idiots, but you don't see me encouraging people to join suicide cults.
It's a little bit different between killing yourself and
no, but you're
Google.
saying but it works. It's like so does a suicide cult.
It's not quite the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling depressed. Then kill yourself. That'll solve feeling depressed. It works.
Yeah, and still not quite the same thing.
Yeah, but what if I don't believe in any of... I don't like Google as a company. They are the fucking devil. Ethically, they're horseshit. And they're not really doing anything that I want. So,
There you go.
you know, that's just how I am. Why should I keep using it just because it works? Apple computers just work. You know? It doesn't mean I have to use one.
No, it doesn't mean you have to use one. Just a pain in the arse that you don't. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Well, then
just
don't
use-
send me the show note links anymore. Because you'll just know that I
You
want
never fill them in anyway, so
No,
don't worry
because
about
they're on Google.
You can find us an alternative service.
Nope.
That doesn't have to involve I need to go and download like some weird codec before you can do it, then fine.
Fucking hell, weird codec, considering I only use free and open software. Jesus Christ.
Right.
There you go. Rant over.
That's over. So we now have Pod Dog.
Yep.
So I think it's time for us to sign off, as we've kept people here for nearly
300 years.
Nearly 3 hours.
Most of it has been me raging about Google and loot boxes and Warriors games.
Yeah. So very much watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam,
And Skazz.
and we'll see you again in a fortnight.
I was actually trying to curb losing my rag against that kind of stuff, you know? We'll just blame it on me being unwell.
Yeah, we will do.
I haven't had my medication.
We'll see. So yeah, we'll see you again in a fortnight.
Yay!
Yay!
Hopefully with no Java or JavaScript. Oh, if only that happened.
I've uninstalled it from your mind.
All of a sudden I crash.